The lives of more than 200,000 people were buried in the mouth of Titan because of him. Although he is only an executor of orders, he is also an accomplice to some extent. That kid, can he come back alive? After a long time, Pixis, who came to his senses, remembered Lin Yan. Now Pixis no longer expects Lin Yan to create any surprises. As long as Lin Yan can come back alive, it will be very good. After all, someone like Lin Yan makes you comparable to a group. Every loss is a huge loss to everyone in the Wall Troost district. In a valley, Aran and Alman are doing daily training in the training ground. As rookies who have just undergone 6 months of training, neither of them is qualified to participate in this recapture battle. So this time, except for the core fighters and Annie who just passed the core member assessment, everyone else was left in the valley. Captain, will they be in danger? Armin and Aran were talking while running, and Armin looked worried into the distance. This time, because of Lin Yan's relationship, his family was spared the fate of being exiled outside the wall. Therefore, he is extremely grateful to Lin Yan. He naturally knew how dangerous the Titan outside the wall was, so he was very worried about Lin Yan's safety. It will definitely not be in danger, the leader is so strong. Hearing what Alman said, Aran said in a very positive tone. Then Aran turned his head to the south, and he remembered what his father had said. Lost in thought. Can the captain bring those things back? Within the city of Sagansina, dilapidated ruins can be seen everywhere. A skinny mouse crawled out of the skull of a half-mummy skeleton, and this is its nest. The mouse crawled into a far room. After Titan broke the city a year ago. A large number of human beings were eaten by the Titan, and the remaining broken limbs were also scattered to various places in the city. Don't move, don't make a sound. What to do, we've run out of gas. A small building. One was wearing a light yellow regiment uniform and a white shirt. A rabbit skeleton hangs from the waist. A girl with glasses wearing a cape with wings of liberty drawn on her back. And another girl with blonde hair, blonde pupils, oval face, and fair skin was hiding by the window. They are Hange of Survey Corps, and Petrol. Hange saw the mouse crawling in, and instantly put a hand on the mouse's spine. Immediately, the mouse was crushed to death before it could scream. As a member of the Survey Corps, Petra is afraid of nothing but rats. So seeing the mouse being crushed to death by Hange, Petra was relieved. Originally, the two followed the Survey Corps troops in the city to guide the Titan. But because of the sudden appearance of 2 strange species of Titans, the 2 of them were scattered by the Titans. And in order to escape the attack of the strange species, the 2 ran out of gas. Petra and Hange were forced to hide in an abandoned room. I hope the supply squad can come over soon after seeing our signal flare. Hearing Petra's words, Hange's eyes became full of worry, and she looked out of the window while speaking. That guy actually came over here. Those people are hunters? Through the window, Hange saw a group of people on horseback. Because I have been to the hunting group camp several times with Erwin. Hange recognized one of them, a girl with blonde hair, blue eyes, high nose bridge, delicate features, and an indifferent face. She had seen this girl on the training ground of the hunter group. Although he didn't know the girl's name, Hange was impressed because of the girl's cold and unique temperament. On the street, the second team, the third team, and the fourth team that entered the city first walked through the streets quickly. Because they were carrying wounded and supplies, they were not walking fast at this time. Annie couldn't help frowning as she watched the strange-looking Titan rushing towards him in the distance. Although she has only joined the hunter group for half a year. But because of her excellent performance in the assessment, Annie was classified as a core member. Entered the second team. That guy should be fine. As the owner of the power of female Titan, Annie is not very worried about the strange species of Titan rushing from a distance. So she was in the team, following the crowd while running and retreating. Their destination was a pre-agreed castle. It is said that it was a stronghold of the hunter group in the Zhiganshina district. In the past 6 months, Annie has complicated feelings for Lin Yan, although she has not had much contact with Lin Yan. But Annie can always feel Lin Yan's profound knowledge from some of Lin Yan's words or actions. But there are many things that people in the world inside the wall should not know. Therefore, Annie has always been suspicious whether Lin Yan came from outside the wall like her. In addition, since entering the hunter group, Annie felt a positive vibe she had never felt before. Everyone in the hunter group is working hard to live. No negativity, no despair and complaints about the world. Annie admires Lin Yan for creating such an environment. Therefore, feeling the roar of the Titan outside the city wall, she couldn't help feeling a little worried. Boom. In the distance, the one was about 25 meters high, with thick and long hands, vaguely looking like a gorilla-like strange species of titan, chasing towards the place where everyone was. Along the way, only to the waist-high house of this strange species of titan, under the impact of the gorilla titan, it fell down quickly like a pile of dominoes. Countless pieces of houses, under the impact of the gorilla titan, shot away across the surroundings. Destroying the dead, the speed far exceeds the ordinary wushui titan. Speed. Up, go fast, go fast. Fran, who still had a bandage on his back, yelled loudly, causing the people on horseback to speed up. Because Fran blocked 2 shots for Lin Yan, back was always in a burning pain. The severe pain was especially intense under the jolt of the horse. Blood seeped out from his back, and his back was bright red. And because after entering the city, the hunter group encountered several waves of titan attacks. The 3 teams killed 12 unscaled titans. Because I have been constantly on the road, and fighting, Fran had no choice but to do some treatment for the back injury, just a simple bandage. So compared to before, his back injury was much more serious. In addition, although everyone is not weak, but because many people participated in actual combat for the first time, Fran immediately chose to retreat in the face of the strange species. Now the hunter group can deal with the strange species alone, only the leader Lin Yan, and the deputy leader Levi. Others can only be possible if the 4 captains join forces. In addition, there are also strong and weak points of the strange species. Fran could feel that the one he encountered today was stronger than the one he encountered before. It should be regarded as the best among the odd species. They're about to be caught up. That strange species caused us to lose 10 members. Petra couldn't help becoming nervous when she saw the strange species of titan getting closer and closer to the hunter group. She turned her head subconsciously, looking at Hange, who was also watching outside. Call out. Da da da, ha da da da, chi. There is no other way, VA.S is gone at all. Looking at the hunted hunters, Hange activated the 3-dimensional mobile device several times without giving up. After trying several times, watching the last wisps of gas turn into white smoke and dissipate in the air, G shook his head. She looked out the window again. Go to the roof and discard all supplies. Feeling that the strange species of titan was getting closer and closer to everyone, Fran gave an order decisively. Fran remembered what Lin Yan once said, survival is the most important thing. Originally, Flange and the others could use the 3-dimensional mobile device to leave quickly. But because of the gas tank, there are also a lot of compressed food and other important supplies in their team. Therefore, in order to protect these materials, their speed slowed down. But in the current situation, there is no way to protect these materials. Damn it. Why did it appear at this time? Riding on the horse, Fran just issued an order, ready to activate the 3-dimensional mobile device to leave. Fran saw the direction in which they were rushing. A strange species of titan about 30 meters high, fat like a ball, came head-on. There is a group of unscaled titans behind the spherical odd-lined titan. Chasing civilians on the street rushed towards them. Fran has seen this ball-shaped strange species of titan before, but he was chasing the Survey Corps before. Fran looked around with a bit of bitterness on his face. Behind everyone is the gorilla titan, and in front is the ball-shaped titan. And they are located in a long and narrow residential alleyway. If you run to both sides, you will go beyond the residential area. Enter open level ground. There are no tall buildings as a support. The 3-dimensional mobile device will become a pile of scrap iron, and it will be difficult to give full play to its advantages. That's even more of a dead end. To sum up, the situation of everyone in the hunter group is that there are strange species of titans attacking at the front and back, and there are open and dangerous areas on the left and right. Ready to fight. Rush through. Clear the obstacles for the leader. Let the first team see how powerful we are. Unable to escape, Flange decisively activated the 3-dimensional mobile device, and attacked the ball-shaped strange species titan in the distance. Break. 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 With the sound of dense metal friction, more than 80 black lines shot out, and then more than 40 bodies that were pulled into bows by steel cables flew into the air. Clang. 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 The blade was unsheathed, and the cold light shone. 10 years of sharpening a sword. Speaking of which, it has been almost 10 years since everyone joined the hunter group. Over the years, they have sweated countless days and nights on the training ground. Eliminate threats for the caravans of the hunters in various places. In the deep mountains and dense forests, the 3-dimensional mobile device training was carried out day and night. Under Lin Yan's pressure again and again, he kept breaking through the limit. Therefore, even if it is surrounded by two extremely powerful strange species and a group of innocent people, there is no timidity in the hearts of the people. In addition, Lin Yan and the people of the first team are behind, and they killed one more Titan. Team leader Lin Yan and the others can have fewer obstacles. Therefore, in order to remove obstacles for Lin Yan, everyone was excited. The hunters are like birds, like apes. They galloped in midair, shuttled freely among the buildings, almost without any pause. A fast-forward flange in midair. I can't help but think of the scene where everyone trained day and night in order to break through the 1-minute limit set by Lin Yan. And after the breakthrough, when they stood in front of Lin Yan and heard Lin Yan announce that they had passed, they felt an unparalleled sense of accomplishment. The three-dimensional mobile device can still operate like this. Hange looked into the distance, and everyone in the hunter group activated the three-dimensional mobile device. Shuttle extremely smoothly over the building complex, I couldn't help but exclaimed. That kind of arbitrary and perfect operation made her unbelievable. She doesn't know how effective the hunter group is. But just look at the operation of the three-dimensional mobile device. Everyone is impeccable. Hange asked herself, it was difficult for her to perform as well as the hunters. And it was the first time for her to see many operating skills. As a research madman, Hange's eyes were full of light. Could it be that they want to rush towards that spherical odd-shaped species? But then, the actions of the hunter group made Hange a little unbelievable. Everyone in the hunter group rushed directly. The ball-shaped strange species of Titan that they chased by the Survey Corps suffered heavy losses. Hange couldn't help but break into a cold sweat for everyone in the hunter group. That spherical odd-moving Titan has a desperately strong defense. Survey Corps knives couldn't pose a threat to the ball-shaped odd-line species at all. Hange remembers that she and Survey Corps head Irwin and many of the Survey Corps leaders. In order to kill this ball-shaped strange species, the Titans cooperated with each other, with Irwin as the main attack, and a group of them as support. Finally, with the cooperation of everyone, Irwin circled behind the ball-shaped strange-looking Titan. But Irwin's knife cut it several times, but he couldn't find where the neck meat of the spherical strange species was. The head of that spherical strange species Titan is like a big ball. And the body and neck seem to be one. And, Irwin's knife after a few cuts. It just broke. That's one of the reasons why Survey Corps lost so badly this time around. That ball-shaped strange-looking Titan couldn't be killed at all, and it couldn't stop cutting. And it's so powerful that it's desperate. Thinking of this, Hange couldn't help but look towards the direction where the Survey Corps was being chased to the south. The outer walls of the city walls of the Sagansina district. The surviving Survey Corps climbed onto the city wall with the help of a three-dimensional mobile device. Everyone didn't dare to stop, and began to replenish supplies and replace the gas tanks on the three-dimensional mobile device. Irwin counted the number of people, after he had seen the signal flares from the north calling for reinforcements. After taking stock of everyone, Irwin judged that it was Hange and Petra who sent the signal just now. Just when Irwin was thinking about how to rescue Hange and Tepera who were surrounded by Titans. And when he turned his head, Irwin saw a large group of people shooting towards the spherical strange species Titan. As a cooperative organization of the Survey Corps, Irwin of the Hunters naturally knew each other. The members of the Hunter Corps, Irwin, are very greedy and want to absorb them into the Survey Corps. Although Irwin only saw the Hunters performing basic training on the training ground of the Hunters. But the amount of basic training of the Hunter Corps is several times more than those of the Training Corps. And everyone can stick to it without any effort. In addition, he has also seen the people of the Hunter Group training the three-dimensional mobile device. Although it was just a newcomer assessment, it was enough to impress him. However, although Irwin knew that the members of the Hunter Group were not weak, they had a good foundation. But after all, the members of the Hunter Group have not experienced a lot of actual combat training. In front of Titan, his mental quality is not good, and no matter how good his training results are, he can't show much strength. Combat and training are completely different things. Damn, those guys are too impulsive. So seeing everyone in the Hunter Group rushing towards the spherical strange species Titan, Irwin couldn't help feeling tense. He tightly squeezed the gas tank in his hand. In residential areas. Boom. The members of the Hunter Group just activated the three-dimensional mobile device and charged towards the ball-shaped strange species Titan. Their original positions were smashed into a pile of rubble by the chasing gorilla strange species Titan. Whoops. The gorilla Titan didn't stop, and was still chasing the hunters. Its front Everyone in the hunter group has already joined the oncoming spherical strange species titan in a group of non-stained titan magnetic children. It's getting worse and worse. Annie was pulled into the air by the steel cable, and the knife in her hand cut off the back of the neck of a Wugo titan while turning, and she landed on a roof. The gorilla titan behind him, and the spherical titan in front of him, even with the power of a female titan, Annie couldn't help but feel a little headache. If the battle cannot be resolved as soon as possible, I am afraid that everyone in the hunter group will die here. Break. Break. Just as Annie was rushing towards the titan again, Annie heard the sound of dense steel cables rubbing in the distance just after taking off. She turned her head in midair and saw Lin Yan, the head of the gorilla who was chasing the titan, and everyone in the first team. Lin Yan is at the front, and the deputy head Levi is at the back. Behind the gorilla titan, Lin Yan stimulated the three-dimensional mobile device to pursue quickly. Not long after he led the first team into the city, he saw Fran and others being chased by the titan. Due to the replacement of the gas tank, some time was delayed. Levi followed behind Lin Yan. Although he and Lin Yan set off at the same time, they were still left behind by Lin Yan by a large distance. Levi wanted to try it when he saw the giant gorilla titan that was running away from everyone in the distance. Therefore, he loudly applied to Lin Yan, "Boss, give me a chance. 1 minute. If you can't stop it, you will retreat immediately." Hearing Levi's request behind him, Lin Yan still didn't stop. While lacing forward, he answered Levi's request. This time the second, third, and fourth teams were surrounded, and it was impossible for Lin Yan to completely let go. Lin Yan is ready to deal with emergencies on the sidelines, so that several teams can practice hard. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Levi's speed in the midair skyrocketed again, and he surged out in the wind. He didn't say much, because he wanted to use actions to prove that he could do it. Lin Yan's body slid down from midair and finally stopped firmly at a place not far from the battle. "The leader is here, be more energetic." Fran, who was shuttled among the Titan group, saw Lin Yan on the side out of the corner of his eye. He shouted excitedly. When everyone heard Fran's voice, the strength of their hands slashing at Titan increased by 3 points out of thin air, and infinite power seemed to emerge from their bodies. The arrival of Lin Yan greatly boosted everyone's morale. What a terrifying appeal. Annie dodged a big titan's hand, she couldn't figure it out. Why did everyone who regarded death as home just now become full of pride so quickly? She, who had just joined the hunter group for half a year, was a little surprised. Just by watching from the side, Lin Yan raised everyone's will to fight so much. First team, don't be suppressed by them. Afterwards, Levi was already attacking the gorilla eccentric species titan. Behind Levi, everyone from the first team also arrived. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Mikasa, Krista, and Isabel of the first team's eyes were full of fighting spirit. If they lost to other teams, they might quit the first team. The first team is not a fixed lineup, only the top 10 in the monthly comprehensive evaluation can stay in the first team. So after hearing Lin Yan's words, everyone in the first team cheered up and joined the battlefield where the second, third, and fourth teams were located. Is this the true strength of the hunter group? How the hell did Lin Yan train these guys? Erwin looked at the members of the hunter group who he felt impulsive from afar. With the incomparable tacit cooperation, he strangled one Wugo titan after another, and he couldn't help but exclaim. In addition, what shocked him the most was that the ball-shaped strange species titan, which had caused the Survey Corps a headache before, was now at a disadvantage under the siege of more than a dozen hunters. Besides, in the hunter group, a small man attracted his attention. The little man was fighting alone with the gorilla titan, and he was able to handle it with ease from the fight until now. More than 50 people fought against the two odd species titans in the arena, and more than 20 Wugo titans. To be honest, even if he was given 5,000 troops, he would not dare to imagine that he could fight with so many titans in such a situation. That knife actually cut in, just when Erwin was amazed at the performance of the hunter group. He saw a man with blonde hair and a bandage wrapped around his body. With the cooperation of a dozen people, he circled behind the spherical odd-line species titan. At first, Erwin thought that the man would return without success just like him. But that knife cut into the neck of the spherical strange species titan as if there was no hindrance. Looking at the knife, Erwin's eyes lit up, and then there was a hint of sadness. If Survey Corps had such a good knife, so many people would not have died before. It seems that the knife in that guy's hand is also the same. How many such sharp weapons are there in the hunter group? Erwin was a little dazzled by the wonderful performance of the hunters on the field. Wherever his eyes went, the severed neck of the Titan was flying around. However, his gaze was always lingering on the two strange species of Titans. Erwin saw the hands of a small man who was fighting a giant gorilla Titan. The knife he was holding was the same as that of the blonde man. Didn't Lin Yan joke before? Not long after, more than a dozen Wugo Titans in the arena had been killed. Seeing the Titan constantly falling, Erwin couldn't help but think of the conversation he had with Lin Yan not long ago. Lin Yan said that he had a way to take back Walmaria, and later said that he wanted to kill all the Titans, all right. Erwin felt that Lin Yan was trying to make him happy. But now it seems that there is such a possibility. Within the city, seeing Lin Yan coming, Henge and Petra focused their attention on Lin Yan. Both of them were very curious about this enigmatic young man. Survey Corps, as the most important organization dealing with incidents related to Titan, has dealt with incidents related to Lin Yan in recent years. Starting with Lin Yan's first appearance outside the city of Maria in the south, and later going to the north. And some performances after the city was broken made them amazed again and again. So when seeing Lin Yan rushing towards the gorilla Titan, both Henge and Petra were a little excited. I want to see how Lin Yan, whom they have been following for so long, will perform. Why did Captain Lin Yan stop? But they found that Lin Yan fell from the sky halfway through the flight. Henge leaned against the window, staring at Lin Yan's movements without turning his eyes. When she saw the falling Lin Yan took out a brown object from the bag at his waist, her eyes lit up. With an excited voice, he said, "Is he carrying some powerful weapon? Looks like eating something." Hearing Henge's words, Atra opened his eyes wide and looked at Lin Yan. Immediately, Petra saw a scene that she will never forget. Surrounded by the Titan, countless pieces of Titan meat fell down, and many members of the hunter group fought fiercely with the Titan, in the middle of the battlefield where sand and stones were flying. Lin Yan put what appeared to be jerky into his mouth. Chewing slowly, it seems that he is not on the battlefield, but wandering on the road. If it were someone else, Hanji and Petra would definitely scold each other for their ignorance and stupidity. Standing there and eating in a place where Titans are raging. But when the other party was Lin Yan, although the two felt that something was wrong, they felt inexplicably reasonable. It seems that someone as powerful as Lin Yan, in a brutal battlefield, eats. It's not something too unacceptable. On the roof of a building where everyone was fighting, Lin Yan held a knife handle with one hand and a piece of compressed food with the other. After Lin Yan's instruction, Isabel made it specially for Lin Yan. Although this piece of compressed food looks small, it is extremely heavy. Much harder than rock. If it were another person, it would definitely be impossible to bite, but Lin Yan can. Lin Yan hasn't eaten anything today since the fight started. Therefore, after seeing the hunter group fighting back and forth with the Titan group, Lin Yan felt relieved and began to eat. While eating, Lin Yan was also observing the battle situation of the four teams. The first as the second, third, and fourth teams besieging the ball-shaped strange species Titan. It was the fourth time that Fran and the others removed the part of the Titan that was thought to be the neck meat, but it was still not. This strange-looking Titan of about 30 meters is like a moving fortress. Every step it moves can bulldoze a large area of buildings. The members of the hunter group are like extreme sports enthusiasts hanging on the cliffs and rock climbing. They are constantly moving on the spherical Titan's mountain-like, round body with the help of three-dimensional mobile devices. Bang bang bang. The spherical strange species of Titan became completely manic because it was constantly cut by the crowd. It slapped its body continuously with its two hands, trying to slap everyone on it to death. Under the slap, a huge sound bang bang. Damn, it's not. After cutting the next piece of meat for the fifth time, I felt that the spherical miraculous species Titan was still standing. There was a trace of bitterness on Fran's face. Call. The gigantic giant hand of the giant truck shot towards Fran. Huge palms whizzed forward, like pillar-thick fingers, sending chills down the spine. The palm wind brought by the palm of the Titan swept over. The strong palm wind blows so far that Fran's eyes cannot be opened. Fran's face was pale, his back was aching, and his injury was getting worse. Click. At the moment when the spherical strange-looking Titan slapped towards him, Fran knew that he couldn't dodge it. He decisively chose to press the cutting button, and in an instant the flange fell from the Titan's body in a free fall. Under the background of the tall background of the spherical strange species Titan, it was like jumping off a cliff. The flange used is a three-dimensional motorized device modified by Lin Yan that can cut off the main cable. The moment he fell, Fran looked guiltily at Lin Yan, who was watching him from a distance, and he felt that he had let Lin Yan down. You pass this time. In the distance, Lin Yan made a gesture of clenching his fist and dropping to Fran, which is a representative pass gesture in the hunter group. Break. Seeing Lin Yan's gesture, the moment the flange was about to fall to the ground, the three-dimensional mobile device shot out. He moved towards Lin Yan's position. Fran retreated, but the others did not give up attacking, they were still trying. Annie is one of them. Although she has not been in the hunter group for a long time, she has been growing at a high speed under the almost abnormal high-intensity training. With excellent physical fitness, under the pressure of Lin Yan's extreme training again and again, she completed the 2-year training of ordinary hunter group members in half a year. That guy is quite calm. Lin Yan sighed slightly as he watched Annie, who was fighting with the spherical strange species Titan. For the past 6 months, Lin Yan arranged for Isabel to keep an eye on Annie's movements. But half a year has passed, and Annie hasn't contacted the other 2 Titan power owners once. Annie is, in a way, Lin Yan's bait. But Lin Yan didn't care too much, just let things take their course. Lin Yan believed that those 2 people would show up sooner or later. Seeing that the second team, the third team, and the fourth team are still in a stalemate with Titan, Lin Yan turned his gaze to where the first team was. Within 1 minute given by Lin Yan, Levi had already resisted the advance of the gorilla Titan. Attracted by Levi, the gorilla turned his head and chased after Levi. The situation where the second, third, and fourth teams of the hunter group were attacked by 2 sides, because Levi's containment has been resolved. Sensing Lin Yan's gaze in the distance, Leviwan raised the corners of his mouth slightly after evading the blow from the gorilla Titan. He completed Lin Yan's task in 1 minute and blocked the attack of the giant gorilla Titan. Seeing Levi's appearance, Lin Yan remembered when the hunter group was just established. When Levi got the first place in training, he stood proudly in front of him, showing exactly the same appearance. Then Lin Yan turned his gaze to the direction of Mikasa and Krista Yu. Mikasa and Krista have a very good relationship since they were young, and they often train together, so they have a very good understanding. But recently, for some unknown reason, neither of them spoke much. But when it comes to dealing with Titan, the 2 of them are extremely serious. From joining the battle to now, Mikasa and Krista have cooperated with everyone to kill 2 Wugo Titans. For them, it is almost the limit that they can achieve at their age. The reason why the 2 were able to be selected into the first team was entirely because their training intensity far exceeded that of ordinary people. Plus great progress. In the judging criteria of the first team, these 2 items accounted for a large proportion. Lin Yan is not the only one paying attention to the situation on the battlefield. The civilians who were originally driven by the Titan fought against the Titan after the hunters fought. After being chased and driven away, they were finally able to stop temporarily. Humans can actually kill Titans. Can a Titan be killed too? Why didn't they show up sooner, if sooner, my wife? Although many civilians on the street are still fleeing. But their pace was no longer as flustered and hasty as before, but slowly slowed down. When they saw that the hunters had killed so many Titans, they completely stopped in place. As the first batch of civilians to enter the city, they naturally have never seen Lin Yan at the gate of the city leading the crowd to kill them, and they had such a pleasant scene. So when I saw the members of the hunter group hacking and killing the Titans one by one, after they fell down, in their minds, the cognition of Titan's invincibility collapsed. In my heart for hundreds of years, the concept of Titan invincibility passed down by my parents was shattered. It's like watching a horror story. After all the unknown things are revealed, they are no longer scary. Therefore, after seeing the Titan fall, something called courage began to grow in everyone's hearts. In addition, some people saw that the people of the hunter group had such great power. Thinking of their dead family members and friends. In my heart, I started to complain about the hunter group only now. I still can't find it. Where is the weakness? In the distance, Erwin was still watching the situation inside the battlefield. With the passage of time, everyone in the hunter group has wiped out all the Wugo Titans, and only 2 powerful strange species are left. Seeing that the hunter group failed in the 5th round of the attack on the spherical strange species Titan, he couldn't help but feel worried. The longer the time drags on, the more Titans will gather around. No matter how powerful the hunter group is, their physical strength will always be exhausted, and their supplies will always run out. So after changing the gas, he immediately led people to rush over, and decided to cover Lin Yan and a group of people to retreat. Just when everyone in Survey Corps was heading towards the direction where Lin Yan and others were. Lin Yan moved. 2 minutes had passed, and everyone still hadn't succeeded in finding the weak point, and there was no longer any delay. Farther away, Titans have already gathered. 5 attacks are enough training for everyone in the hunter group. Break. Hearing the sound of Lin Yan's 3-dimensional mobile device, the people who were attacking left without hesitation. They understand that this time they have timed out. For the battle with Titan, the hunter group's effective kill standard is within 2 minutes. Deemed qualified. If the time is exceeded, it is considered an invalid kill. At first, everyone didn't understand why Lin Yan set such strict rules. But after fighting against Titan, they understood. As time increases, the possibility of being surrounded will also increase significantly. Therefore, if they cannot kill the Titan in a short time, even if they kill the target in the end, they will be swallowed by the Titan because they are surrounded. Therefore, it is considered an invalid kill. Is Captain Lin Yan finally going to do it himself? I don't know if he can find a weakness. On the one hand, Hange, who was watching the situation on the battlefield, saw Lin Yan attacking in person. She had been paying attention to Lin Yan's gaze before, and she burst into light. Beside Hange, Petra also looked into the distance. Inside the battlefield. After completing the task, the 4 teams retreated to the side. Only Lin Yan and Levi are left on the battlefield. Everyone was paying attention to the situation in the field, while replenishing the consumed supplies. Mikasa bet a meatloaf. How long can Lin Yan big brother end the fight this time? Krista flipped through her supplies bag. While looking for meatloaf, he talked with Mikasa, smiled and made a bet with Mikasa. It's over. Hearing Mikasa's words, the meatloaf that Krista had just taken from the bag in her hand almost fell to the ground. Krista followed Mikasa's gaze to the sky. In the distance, the spherical strange species Titan, which was as high as 30 meters, stood straight in place, and white mist began to emit from its body. The Titan was supposed to be directly above the chest, and a huge piece of meat was cut off. Why the chest? See the Titan killed by Lin Yan in the distance. Hange froze. But soon she had an answer. As the flesh on the ball-shaped strange species Titan melted away, its huge skeleton went down. Hange saw that the ball-shaped strange-looking Titan's feet, which were covered by the huge belly before, turned out to be heels. That is to say, the head of this spherical odd-lined Titan is reversed for some reason. Or it was reversed for some reason, was knocked crooked. And the reason why everyone didn't find this problem before. It is entirely because the spherical odd-line species Titan is not only fat like a ball. And it's covered in hair, and its huge belly covers its feet. When Lin Yan just ate, he noticed that there was something wrong with the footprints on the ground, and Fran and the others failed several times. From this, Lin Yan deduced that there was something wrong with the head of this ball-shaped strange species. So different from everyone else, Lin Yan instantly cut to the place that everyone saw as his chest. This can't be blamed for not being sensitive enough. Under the pursuit of this group of Titans, it is not easy to suppress the fear. In addition, the battle with the Titan requires high-speed attacks and movements, and everyone's attention is focused on responding to the enemy's attack. So the oddity of the footprint on the ground is ignored. Missed this detail. We actually attacked the wrong place. Erwin and a group of Survey Corps members who were going to pick up Lin Yan stopped on a roof. His expression was a little bitter. Before the Survey Corps was chased by 2 strange species and a group of unstained Titans, they rushed to fight. No one noticed this detail, but it was this small detail that caused the loss of half of Survey Corps' elites. If only we had discovered that detail before. Thinking of this, while admiring Lin Yan's detail control, Erwin also felt guilty for his mistakes. But soon, Erwin's gaze, which had been gloomy with guilt, was attracted by the scene of the Titan falling in the distance. That guy. Is the battle over too? After nearly 5 minutes of fighting with the gorilla Titan, Levi successfully killed the Titan. Seeing Levi jumping off the Titan's body in the distance, Erwin was curious. How did Lin Yan, a small farmer, train so many outstanding people? Lin Yan became more mysterious in Erwin's eyes. This day has been extraordinarily long. For everyone participating in this recapture battle, the sun in the sky seems to be unchanged. But time will pass. After being chased by the Titans for a day, the night finally came. Hundreds of thousands of people have never been so eager to live in the dark. At the moment when the sun went down, all the people who were still alive breathed a sigh of relief. At least, another day was added to their time alive. Wall Maria on the wall. After the hunter group killed 3 strange species, the city briefly returned to silence. On the interior walls of the Saganina area, More than a dozen rope ladders were lowered by members of the Survey Corps. The civilians climbed to the tall city walls by rope ladders. 1 month's time, you can't go back. It's been like this for a day, a month, what a joke. On the city wall, civilians from all over the world finally had time to relax after being chased by the Titan for a day. Some of them are former refugees from the Siganina area. There are also some people who were driven to the pioneering area by the people from the world inside the wall after being unemployed due to famine. Those who were later forced to join the recapture battle. Everyone has not returned to the Siganina area. In their hearts, they still have illusions about the rulers of the world inside the walls. I thought it was really like what the rulers preached. There were several major corps of troops fighting with them, and the danger was controllable. But after a hellish day, no matter how stupid people are, they have realized it. I and others were deceived by the rulers and politicians. The civilians began to regret that they came to die for some benefits. In fact, they have been sentenced to death since they came out of Rose's wall. Among the crowd, the most desperate is the group of people who have been protecting the kingdom and defending the kingdom against the Titan. Their loyalty was exchanged for abandonment. Inside the wall is the king who abandoned himself, and outside the wall are Titans wandering around. Hundreds of thousands of people were completely sleepless that night. They could not see the future and hope. Even if they climb up to the wall to hide for a short time, how long can they persist without food and water? Therefore, not long after everyone rejoiced, their hearts were once again shrouded in despair. If those people go out of town to kill all the Titans, can't we go back? That's right, they are so powerful, they should do their part to protect the kingdom. If I had their strength, I would have led everyone back to take back the wall. After being shrouded in despair, driven by the desire to survive, everyone began to talk about the hunter group. Slowly, it became a matter of course for the powerful hunter group to protect these vulnerable groups. In the test of death and fear, the egoism of human nature is awakened. The psychology of the civilians became distorted. Among the crowd, the voices for hunters to fight against the Titan and protect everyone back are getting louder and louder. The moon is extraordinarily bright in the sky. The hot wind in August turned into a comfortable warm wind after the sun went down. On the edge of the wall of Mary, a round-faced owl sits and naps on the parapet of a watchtower in a stone castle. Since humans disappeared from this land, it moved its home from the outlying city into a vent in the wall of the castle behind it. Sleeping during the day and hunting at night, it has become accustomed to squatting on this fence, waiting for the mice approaching the stone fort. Tuck tuck tuck. In the originally silent night, the sound of horseshoes sounded. The owl's eyes, which were originally closed, opened at once, looking into the distance suspiciously. Haven't been back for a year. I don't know if those things are broken. The team on horseback slowly approached. Although the soft voice has been suppressed very low, it can be clearly heard in the silent night. Isabel and Lin Yan rode horses side by side and slowly walked into a large yard already overgrown with weeds from a distance. The hunter group followed closely behind. Rather than saying that this is a large courtyard, it is more appropriate to say that it is a military camp. There are 3 rows of wooden buildings and 4 tall stone fortresses built with stones. As Isabel unlocked the gate of the fort with the key, everyone filed in. After solving the siege of the Titan, gather the horses that were scared away because of the Titan. Then he gathered all the supplies he was carrying. The individual came here. After a day of fighting, everyone was exhausted. Therefore, after entering the courtyard, everyone began to enter the high tower bunker, preparing to rest. The originally pitch-black camp became brightly lit after the hunters arrived. Brick by brick here, everyone in the hunter group has participated in the construction with everyone in the logistics force. When everyone came here for the first time, it was because they were called to maintain the city wall. Big brother, there's a brood of owls here. Let them go. Why don't you go to bed? I just came to see it, I haven't been here for a long time. Lin Yan stood on the bunker, which was originally a watchtower in the city, and later the hunting group's camp was built around it. Hearing Mikasa's words, Lin Yan turned around and looked at Mikasa. Unknowingly, Mikasa had grown a lot taller. Big brother, when shall we go back? Standing on the watchtower, Mikasa looked at the civilians sitting densely on the city wall in the distance, and she suddenly felt homesick. Missing the home on Northern Hunter's farm. In a few days, we will go back. Before I go back, I will take you to a place. Lin Yan turned his attention to the direction outside Wall Maria. This time, the actual combat training goal of the hunter group has basically been completed. And being a hero doesn't interest Lin Yan much. For the sake of a group of irrelevant people, Let the hunter group that I worked so hard to cultivate to repair a completely useless wall. And risking being surrounded by titans, Lin Yan couldn't do it. Lin Yan never does things that are not thankful. So Lin Yan decided that after taking everyone to finish that task, this trip can be declared over. Inside the castle, in a very cozy house. A kerosene lamp hung on the wall, and the light was a bit dim. The room was tidied up very clean, filled with a faint fragrance. There are two two-story beds in the room. Krista was sitting on a bed, and she took out a notebook from a wooden box. July 17th, sunny. I want to be like Lin Yan. August 11th, rain. The candies left by Lin Yan Big Brother are delicious. January 12th, snow. Lin Yan Big Brother brought a lot of fish today. Krista flipped through her book, which she carried with her wherever she went. Compared with before, there is much more content in it, but it is all related to Lin Yan. Krista took out her pen and began to write in her notebook. August 17th, sunny. Lin Yan Big Brother praised me for making great progress. Again. Krista smiled as she wrote. This book records all her happy things. Krista found that since meeting Lin Yan, she has more and more happy things. What are you doing, Krista? It's nothing, you. How did you come back? Mikasa's voice came from outside the door, and Krista closed the book in fright. He looked at Mikasa, who came in with a little dodge in his eyes. Hearing Krista's words, Mikasa looked at the notebook Krista was holding. Then he asked. Come back to rest. What are you writing in hiding? I didn't tell you, I'm going to sleep. Krista put away the book with a blushing face, then pulled the quilt over and hid it under the quilt. Seeing Krista's actions, Mikasa didn't ask any more questions. Everyone has the right to hide their secrets. In the courtyard, Isabel and Annie are busy. Annie, help me take this to the captain's room. Isabel is busy in the kitchen on the first floor, preparing food for Lin Yan. After cooking a bowl of broth, she had to cook other food, so Isabel looked to Annie, who was on the side. Hearing Isabel's words, Annie nodded and left with the broth. Tuck tuck tuck. Lin Yan was sitting at the desk reading a book. When he heard someone knock on the door, Lin Yan got up and opened the door. Captain Isabel asked me to deliver the soup. Annie walked inside while bringing the soup to Lin Yan's table. Just after putting the soup on the table, Annie saw the paper on the table. The pattern above made her heart tremble. It was an island surrounded by the sea. This is what I saw in my dream, and I drew it casually. Seeing Annie's dull expression, Lin Yan casually picked up the paper in his hand and continued. What do you think our world looks like? Hearing Lin Yan's words, Annie panicked. She had always heard that Lin Yan was very strong from the hunters before, but she had never seen Lin Yan show his strength. So there is no concept. Annie even felt that the hunter group might be exaggerating. But today, after seeing Lin Yan make a move, Annie was silent. The strength shown by Lin Yan is stronger than that described by everyone in the hunter group. Odd line species Titan, kill as soon as you say it. Annie, who had always felt relaxed by Lin Yan's side, became nervous when she looked at Lin Yan again. Maybe it's what the leader imagined. If it's okay, I'll go get busy. Seeing Annie leave in a panic, the corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up involuntarily. No matter how smart Annie is, she is still young now. After Lin Yan probed her a little, she lied. In fact, Lin Yan wanted to see Annie's reaction, and Lin Yan wanted to stimulate it. Will Annie do something about it? Before Colossal Titan and Kaizi Titan appeared, it would be hard to say something. Repairing the walls is a waste of effort. Who knows if they can't figure it out and kick the city away again. So although Lin Yan participated in the Wall Maria recapture battle, he has no interest in repairing the wall. Is it really just a dream? Have I been discovered? As Annie walked, recalling what Lin Yan said, she was a little surprised. After all, it is not convincing to say that one dreams about a map. So Annie wondered if she had been exposed. Not long after Annie left, Isabel took the food and came to Lin Yan's room. Do you want to follow up? Go ahead, let nature take its course. Isabel was arranging food for Lin Yan while talking with Lin Yan. Although she didn't know why Lin Yan asked her to keep an eye on Annie secretly, she had always done well. Isabel knows that there is a probationary period for newcomers in the hunter group, but Annie's probationary period has passed long ago. Lin Yan picked up the broth on the table, drank it slowly, and answered Isabel's question lightly. Such follow-up will continue until the Kaizi Titan and Colossal Titan are found. The destructive power of those two guys is much stronger than that of ordinary titans. After Lin Yan decided to replace the royal family, to some extent, he has stood on the opposite side of Mary. Therefore, Lin Yan has a heart for those who may be enemies in the future. Boss, there are many people outside. It seems that the boss made you some kind of commander-in-chief. Lin Yan was eating when he saw Levi coming in from the outside frowning, reporting the news as he walked. Hearing what Levi said, Lin Yan, who was sitting in front of the table, turned his head slightly. Wow. Isabel saw Lin Yan's sideways movement, and tacitly opened the curtain on the window for Lin Yan. Lin Yan looked out the window. In front of the hunter group's camp, this place was originally an extremely open place, but at this moment, it was full of people standing there. It seems that there are tens of thousands of people. Without thinking, Lin Yan knew that these people came down from the nearby city wall. Lin Yan turned his head and began to bury his head in eating the food that Isabel made for him on the plate. Commander Lin Yan, you are a human hero. Heroes, please take us home. Outside the camp, the people stationed in the regiment began to take the lead in shouting into the castle. Their voices became louder and louder, and many members of the hunter group who had been exhausted from fighting for a day were woken up. Many wounded people also came out one after another. The yelling continued, and the sound was louder than one. Time passed by every minute and every second, and more people gathered outside. People from the Survey Corps also came down from the city wall. Erwin looked at the people around him with an ugly expression. He didn't expect these people to coerce Lin Yan in such a way. Clatter. 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 With the sound of footsteps, Lin Yan appeared at the gate of the stone castle, and then walked towards the crowd. The originally noisy crowd fell silent, and the people who took the lead in even showed smug smiles on their faces. With the title of hero, how many people can resist such a temptation? What's more, Lin Yan still looks so young. It's the time when he is young and frivolous. So everyone was waiting for Lin Yan to pretend to refuse, and then, they asked again, and Lin Yan agreed. In this way, they can obtain the protection of the hunter group. Lin Yan looked at the tens of thousands of people looking at him. Without any expression on his face, he said lightly. We have no heroes here, please go back. Captain Lin Yan, do you want to watch hundreds of thousands of people die? Can you do nothing like this? Humanity needs you, we need you, Captain Lin Yan. Hearing Lin Yan's words, everyone was stunned. Immediately, someone stepped forward to accuse Lin Yan, and one hat after another was put on Lin Yan's head. The people who just called Lin Yan one hero at a time. At this moment, he was in a panic. As if Lin Yan did not save them, it would be a heinous crime. It seems that everyone in this world owes them the same. As if they were the ones representing the truth. Clatter. 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 Lin Yan ignored the clamoring crowd, and didn't try to argue with these crazy people. He turned around and walked back. If you are so selfish, you will be punished. If you don't help us, we won't leave. Yes, if you don't help us, we won't leave. The crowd was still clamoring, with wonderful expressions on their faces, but they didn't dare to take a step closer to Lin Yan. Lin Yan's powerful strength made them extremely afraid. They are like vicious dogs tied on chains, crazy but cowardly. While barking wildly, he was still retreating. Halfway through, Lin Yan looked at Krista, who was streaming tears. And Mikasa kicked around by Isabel's legs again. There are also hunters who have already drawn their knives. Seeing everyone's anger, Lin Yan felt warm in his heart. Snapped. Why cry, Krista? They're bad guys. Lin Yan big brother, woo woo woo. Lin Yan walked up to Krista and put one hand on her head, and asked softly. Krista's tears flowed down, pointing to the people in the distance, crying more and more wrong. From Krista's point of view, those words were clearly unreasonable and malicious accusations. Mikasa, put away your dagger. I'm going to kill them, big brother, I'm going to kill them. Seeing Mikasa, who was still kicking, Lin Yan took the dagger out of her hand. Lin Yan looked at Mikasa with a smile, gently scraping away the teardrops hanging from the corners of her eyes with his hands. Mikasa wanted to hold back the tears rolling in her eyes, but the moment she saw Lin Yan smiling, she could no longer control her emotions. Tears flowed down. Close the door and everyone enters the tower bunker. Lin Yan didn't even look back, and directly issued the order. Although everyone was unwilling, they still chose to carry out the order. Soon all the hunters entered the tower, and no one stayed outside. That guy, he should be here soon, right? Lin Yan walked slowly on the steps. He didn't seem to be angry at what happened just now. There is really no need to be angry with a group of dead people. Whoops. The people who were still angry at Lin Yan for ignoring them suddenly heard a loud roar. It was the voice of Titan. The roar seemed to tear apart the space. The eardrums of the people are going to be shattered, and the huge roar is like thunder exploding in the ears. Under this huge sound, many people's ears are instantly deaf. Boom 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 boom. The ground shook violently, and a huge belt of downed trees rushed towards it in the distance. Then the debris splashed everywhere, the earth thumped, and the ground shook violently. Everyone turned their heads in astonishment. A titan about 17 meters high, like a tall building, hit Chow Chow crowd. This is an exotic titan. The most conspicuous thing about this strange species of titan is its two huge fists. Each fist is the size of a truck. Just looking at it makes your scalp tingle. The giant fist titan rushed towards everyone, and all the objects that hindered its progress were completely smashed by its fists along the way. In addition, the titan of the giant fist has a grinning expression on his face. Under the moonlight, it is particularly eerie and terrifying. Run, help. Leader Lin Yan, help. Shudder, Captain Lin Yan, open the door. Lin Yan stood upstairs quietly, watching the huge strange-looking people wreaking havoc in the crowd. There was no expression on his face, just Lin Yan, whose hearing is far beyond that of ordinary people, was talking to everyone. I heard the sound of this strange species approaching. Originally, if these people were not here for moral kidnapping, Lin Yan might have reminded them. But they came to coerce him, so Lin Yan chose to leave silently. Let everyone go up to the tower blockhouse. During the day when he was fighting against the spherical strange-looking titan, Lin Yan once wondered why that titan's head was upside down. Now seeing the titan in front of him, Lin Yan knew the answer. 80% of them were knocked crooked by this one. This is a strange species of titan, a strange species that can walk with the help of moonlight. Puff puff puff. Just one blow from the giant fist titan charged into the crowd, dozens of people were beaten to pieces. In front of Lin Yan just now, the clamoring crowd began to beg for mercy. But how could Lin Yan talk to them? If the giant fist titan hadn't come just now, these people wouldn't even think about leaving alive. Boom boom boom. The giant fist titan shuttled through the crowd, and its fists seemed to smash the ground, smashing towards the people on the ground. Every time a punch falls, big holes can be made on the ground, and the ground is cracked by it. Puff 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 puff. Kacha kacha kacha. The dense sound of vomiting blood and the sound of bones breaking rang out. Blood splattered, blood mixed with brain fluid everywhere, and colorful intestines and internal organs. All around, minced meat. Suddenly this flat land became a slaughterhouse. Help us, please, we were wrong, Captain Lin Yan. The cry for help is still ringing. The desperate people have long since lost their previous arrogance. In front of the titan, these people have no chance of escape. Faced with such a strange species, not to mention ordinary people, even the Survey Corps are helpless. Let's go. Go back to sleep. Lin Yan left the watchtower, not at all interested in watching everyone being beaten to death by the giant fist titan. In a sense, everyone's death was self-inflicted. The voice they called Lin Yan before was too loud, which attracted people's attention. Therefore, everyone can be regarded as a worthy death. In addition, these people have nothing to do with Lin Yan, so whether they die or not, Lin Yan doesn't care at all. Hearing Lin Yan's words, everyone followed Lin Yan and started to walk back. Nothing to say all night. There were cries outside, begging for mercy, and ground shaking. After punch from the giant fist titan, it disappeared. The next day, the sky was cloudless, and the sun was scorching the earth in the sky. Around the hunter group's camp, smashed corpses can be seen everywhere. Like a bunch of watermelons falling from a height. In addition, there are huge potholes one by one, and there are pieces of tall trees that have fallen down. No one stopped telling that what those arrogant people encountered yesterday was an extremely terrifying existence. Goo. An owl flew down from the sky. The fight in the watchtower last night made it terrified. The owl flew overnight away from the nest it occupied in the vent of the watchtower bunker. Back in the nest, I saw my still alive young bird. It no longer takes this safe place for granted as it once did. The threat of death made it understand what awe is. Creak. With a tooth-piercing sound, a man with blonde hair came out from the door of the watchtower. He is tall, but he looks a little sluggish. What price do we need to pay before we can ask you to take action? Hearing the noise, the owl just wanted to fly out of the nest. It saw a majestic and powerful figure standing from the edge of the castle. It just didn't find out at all. The owl was so frightened that it hid in its nest, not daring to move. The blonde man is none other than Erwin, the leader of the Survey Corps. After watching the battle between Lin Yan and the Hunter Group and the Titan, and what happened last night, Erwin understood. Not only is Lin Yan's strength already at the peak of humankind, but his forces are also powerful enough to sweep the Survey Corps. And, through the events of yesterday, Erwin understood that Lin Yan was not someone who would act because of his reputation or title. Lin Yan's appearance of wanting nothing made Erwin a little confused about what Lin Yan really wanted. After much deliberation to no avail, he decided to be honest with Lin Yan. If you can't think of any way to seal the gap in the city wall, man on the wall, you don't have to be eaten by the Titan, but you will die because of the scorching sun in the sky and hunger. Up to 3 days, Erwin can predict that cannibalism will become inevitable. In addition, that mighty giant fist, it is no longer something that Survey Corps can solve. If Lin Yan doesn't make a shot, Erwin can't think of who else can jump out. Erwin came this time to beg Lin Yan for a hand. As the head of the Survey Corps, who is in charge of the most elite troops among human beings, he naturally understands that profit is the driving force for action. Does Captain Erwin want to visit the world beyond the wall? Hearing Erwin's words, Lin Yan asked indifferently, but did not directly answer Erwin's question. Lin Yan is still looking into the distance. It seems that Erwin's arrival is not surprising. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Erwin's originally sluggish eyes lit up for a while. The reason why he joined the Survey Corps was to unravel the mysteries of this world. He wants to know why there is a Titan, and what the outside of this world is like. This is his dream since he was a child, and it is also the driving force that supports him to dare to face the Titan. Erwin looked at Lin Yan's back, his voice was trembling and unbelievable. Leader Lin Yan, you mean, you have a solution? In a few days, I will set off to look outside the wall. Lin Yan turned around slowly and looked at Erwin. I don't see you overnight. The originally energetic Survey Corps leader Erwin looked a little rough at the moment, revealing a strong taste of vicissitudes. What happened yesterday? Lin Yan wasn't just out to vent his anger. Lin Yan wanted Erwin of the Survey Corps and Pixis of the Garrison Corps to know. There are many heroes in this world, but he is not. Lin Yan will not do things that are not beneficial. People are strange creatures. When you act like a good person, they will use morality to kidnap you. Use big principles to frame you, trying to let you be controlled by them. When you show ferocity and strength that make them look up to you, they will respect you, and they will please you. So Lin Yan wants to let everyone know. No one can stop what he wants to do. No one can take away what he doesn't want to give. Let's ask Captain Lin Yan to make a condition. Let's talk about things outside the city. Those civilians know what they did wrong. Commander Lin Yan, please take a look. Hearing what Lin Yan said, Erwin really wanted to propose to go out with Lin Yan. But Erwin understands that the most important thing now is how to solve the current predicament, so he brought the topic back on track again. Follow the direction of Erwin's finger. Lin Yan stood on the watchtower and looked down at the city wall. Hundreds of thousands of civilians bowed deeply. Hundreds of thousands of people bowed their heads deeply. He didn't even have the courage to raise his head to look at Lin Yan. He hooked his waist respectfully, and didn't even dare to move. Those things are all imaginary. Do you think I care? Hearing Lin Yan's words, El was speechless. He couldn't help showing a wry smile on his face. Lin Yan was right. These things were indeed worthless in Lin Yan's eyes. Lin Yan stopped talking nonsense with Erwin. He continued. I'll be back in 3 days. Ask Pythias, is he loyal to the king, or to men? In addition, there is a person named Krista in my team. Who she is, you should know. Erwin was shocked when he heard Lin Yan's words. The anger was extinguished as soon as it burst out of his eyes, and Erwin instantly understood what Lin Yan meant. To be honest, Erwin has no feelings for the royal family. Especially the inaction of the royal family in this incident disappointed both him and Pixis. However, Lin Yan's sudden request made him unable to digest it. After contacting the Hunter Group, Erwin investigated the information of everyone in the Hunter Group. Krista is the illegitimate daughter of the current real king, and he naturally knows about this. After thinking for a while, Erwin chose to agree to Lin Yan's request. For him, it doesn't matter who the king is, as long as human beings can get a glimmer of hope to live, as long as they can see the truth of the world, he can give up everything. Erwin looked at the scorching sun in the sky, and then at Lin Yan. He said in a pleading tone. Can you go faster? 3 days, I'm afraid those people won't be able to last that long. I'll be back in 4 days, and that's it. Whether they survive or not is a matter for the Garrison Corps and the Survey Corps. Lin Yan didn't give Erwin any room to negotiate conditions. It is impossible to want him to make a move without a price. Therefore, Lin Yan wanted to see the attitudes of Pixis and Erwin. 4 days later, if the answers given by Pixis and Erwin are enough to satisfy him, then he can consider making a move. If the two can't come up with enough chips, then Lin Yan will not care about anyone. Here. Then please head Lin Yan, you must come back in 4 days. Hearing Lin Yan's tough answer, Erwin showed a bit of bitterness on his face. After all, what the more than 20,000 people did last night was really chilling. Not only did they not have a trace of gratitude because Lin Yan killed the Titan during the day so that they had a chance to escape, and also tried to coerce Lin Yan to protect them. If it were Erwin, he couldn't help but feel angry. What qualifications does he have? He wants Lin Yan to be more generous. Thinking of this, Erwin shook his head helplessly, and then activated the 3-dimensional mobile device to leave quickly. Erwin wanted to hurry back and discuss with Pixis. This matter is no longer something he can decide alone. Seeing Erwin leave quickly, Lin Yan has no intention of staying in the watchtower. He is going to take the hunter group to the world outside the wall to see what the world really looks like. After being in this world for so many years, Lin Yan still hasn't gone out to take a good look at it. It's time to let everyone in the hunter group know something. The other side. After Erwin returned to the city wall, he began to arrange things quickly. Time does not wait. Survey Corps has lost half of its staff this time. Many others were injured, and there is no way to go out during the day, and now there are a large number of Titans in the city, surrounded by the city wall. Like evil spirits from hell, looking down from the city wall, there are huge Titan mouths densely packed. Counting 1,000 Titans wandering back and forth at the corner of the city wall. Time flies. In a blink of an eye, it got dark. When the scorching sun sets from the west, the world becomes hopeful again. I hope that Lord's anger can calm down. We should have stopped those scum yesterday. Yes, we can obviously stop it, but we hesitate. The civilians were sitting on the ground, most of them had pale faces, chapped lips, and sat weakly on the wide city wall. Not many people really dared to participate in the riot yesterday. It's just a part of people, most of whom are idle and unemployed. And all died. Most of the remaining people stayed on the city wall, most of them were farmers, and they were all people who fled to the Wall of Rose because of losing their land. They are also extremely angry at such scum among themselves and others. But in order to avoid trouble and not want to cause trouble, they hesitated. Throw it down, it's already dead. Let's get down on the clothes, you can also use them to cover the sun. I hope it will rain tomorrow. For 2 days, most of the people on the city wall hadn't even had a drop of water, and there was no way to get food at all. The city wall has turned into a refugee camp at this moment. There are small sheds made of torn clothes everywhere. There is no way to go down the city wall during the day. The civilians can only choose to lie down in these simple sheds. At night, they would get up and risk being beaten to death by the giant-fisted odd-moving Titans wandering around the city to find some food. Soon night fell completely. Break, break. With the sound of steel cables rubbing against metal, the civilians who had thrown corpses on the city wall stopped their movements. They looked towards the city of Siganshina. Immediately, they saw a group of familiar figures appearing in front of them, getting closer and closer to the city wall. More than 50 figures jumped into the sky and shot towards the city gate. That is the people of the hunter group. Whoops. In the woods, a Titan with a height of about 17 meters came out of the woods and chased after the people in the sky. With its huge body and extraordinary speed, it chased after the people of the Titan group. Rumble. Along the way, the momentum was monstrous, and the two pillar-like legs were swinging rapidly, leaving faint afterimages. A large number of trees were turned into sawdust under the impact of the giant boxing species, and some stones on the ground were kicked and shot out like cannonballs. However, although its speed is fast, it is still not as fast as the hunter group. What's more, everyone in the hunter group set off first. Looking at it from a distance, the distance between the two parties in the air seems to have stopped in a static state, and there is no difference. 45 seconds, pass. 49 seconds, pass. 1 minute, pass. 1 minute and 2 seconds, failed. Lin Yan, who came to the city wall first, pressed the mechanical timer in his hand, and kept recording the time it took for everyone to arrive at the city gate. Chased by the Titan of the giant fist and strange species, the speed of everyone has increased a lot. For such a strange species, it is just right to train everyone. So Lin Yan has no intention of killing this titan in a short time. At least to squeeze out its use value. Kakaka pedal pedal. Everyone put away the three-dimensional mobile device, and with the sound of footsteps, it landed on the city wall. Set off. Lin Yan looked outside the city because of their traction, Survey Corps Hange, Petra and others who had taken the horses out. He jumped down first and led the crowd away from Wall Maria. Royal capital. In a solemn-looking building, a huge long table was placed in a wide room. A dark red carpet covered the floor. The gorgeously dressed people looked flushed and sat drowsily on their respective chairs. The kingdom's parliamentarians are discussing politics as usual. President Darius Zachary sat in the middle seat, and some congressmen and representatives of nobles sat on both sides. From the expressions of the congressmen and nobles, it can be seen that everyone does not respect the so-called president on the stage. There is also a hint of disdain. Words from the Wall Maria front have come back, and it's time to declare defeat. In addition, our overall grain harvest this year is worse than expected. The front line needs a batch of supplies. I hope you can support one or two. Glancing around, Darius read the report slowly, his tone like a robot. He is used to being ignored, and all he needs to do every day is to act as the mouthpiece of the royal family. Wall Maria failed to recapture. There is no need to waste resources. We lost the battle on the front line, and let us send supplies. If I had to say, there's no need for the Survey Corps to exist anymore. Hearing what Darius said on the stage, the MPS and noble representatives began to respond fiercely. When they heard that they were asked to provide supplies, they who were drowsy instantly became hysterical and became more energetic. For them who are far away in the capital, the battle on the front line has nothing to do with them. They live in the royal capital, and they have never been to the Wall of Maria in their lives, so it will not affect his life at all. Soon the meeting place turned into a debate like a vegetable market, and it was a mess. Darius on the stage sat quietly like that. A trace of unwillingness flashed in his eyes, and then disappeared quickly. 2 days later, the world beyond the walls. It was already evening. Ha ha ha. On the coast, one wave after another beat on the reef, and the sound of fine waves spread throughout the long coastline. On the golden sea, where the sky and water meet, there is a red sunset that cannot be seen. Rustle. A sea turtle crawled out of the sea. The turtle's limbs and belly rubbed against the sand surface, making a rustling sound. How many are in this batch? I heard that there are more than 30. Oh, these are all our compatriots. Hush. You want to die? If the Mare hear us, we'll be finished immediately. We all have to go back to the concentration camp. Call the devil. Yes, yes, they are all demons, all demons. On a high platform on the coast, a huge ship is docked beside the high platform. 2 men wearing armbands were carrying things to the high platform. The 2 people carrying things are Aldeans in the concentration camp in Mare. The 2 Aldeans spoke in a low voice, looking around from time to time while speaking. The status of Aldeans in Mare is extremely low, almost equal to slaves. Even the heirs of Juju are only slightly better than ordinary people. Their families will be controlled by the Mare. In a sense, the Aldeas are the weapons of the Mare. Moreover, because of the use of the power of the Aldeans Titan during the Mare Foreign War, people all over the world hated the Aldeans. In order to prevent the Aldeas from rebelling, the Malays developed many measures to prevent the Aldeas from rebelling. Reporting measures are one of them. As long as you report rebellion or escape, you can get the honorary title of Aldean. Soon, a group of people were escorted to the high platform. Woo! Shoot me! I curse you, you must die. The people of Aldea who were tied and kneeling on the ground screamed and cried, are cursed viciously. But no matter what kind of performance, they are just venting their inner fear. Haha. What else are you dissatisfied with? I'm about to reunite with my compatriots. Remember to eat more compatriots. The bearded Marley man was talking and picked up a syringe and a bottle of spinal fluid from the case. Inhaled and injected into the neck veins of an Aldean man. Then he kicked him on the back and kicked him off the high platform. What? The falling Aldean screamed, but his body suddenly changed in midair before landing. A large amount of steam gushed out, and his body changed from a human to a titan in an instant. Boom. Titan's body hit the ground, shaking up a large cloud of dust. It got up from the ground, looked around blankly, and then seemed to smell the smell of people on the high platform, and walked towards this side immediately. However, its height was far from the high platform, so it had to stretch out its hands to grab the high platform, and raised its head to look bloodthirsty at the Mare above. This is the devil. Several Marley soldiers who saw the transformation scene for the first time were terrified. But after seeing that the Titan couldn't hurt them, he immediately became contemptuous and disdainful. Brainless monster. At this moment, the other Aldeans who knelt on the ground and witnessed the whole process of people turning into Titans are on the verge of collapse. Let go of me, I don't want to become a devil. Bastards, you bastards, they were all screaming and struggling. Some even want to jump directly from the high platform, even if there is a hard reef below. This time the Aldeans also seek the hope of falling to death instead of becoming such monsters. Seeing this scene, the bearded Malay frowned slightly and said to the other soldiers, "Hold on to them, don't let them fall." The soldiers held him down, but some recruits looked at the bearded man in puzzlement and asked, "Captain, just push them down and let them be eaten by the Titan, it's over. We can also save some spinal fluid, isn't this thing expensive to make?" The bearded captain glared at the soldier and scolded, "Idiot. These Titans are used to keep a threat to the demons on the island, if only to kill people. Then you shot people to death in the concentration camp and that's it. Why did you come all the way here?" The soldier also came back to his senses and understood. Indeed, turning these Aldeans into Titans is not about killing them. It's for them to fight each other with the Aldeans on the island and keep a constant crisis. Otherwise, once the manufacture of Titans is stopped, the Titans on the island will die. Without the threat from the outside world, it would be a bit worse. After all, people from the world inside the wall should never see this sea. But they didn't know that someone was watching them through binoculars from behind the distant reef. Let go of me, grab them. Hange was held tightly by Lin Yan. When she saw that the person who had been injected turned into a Titan, she guessed a lot of things. As a scientific madman who later invented such a genius as the thunder gun, Hange's IQ is naturally not weak. Although sometimes, the words are too direct. That ship must be a Titan supply ship. Lin Yan was lost in thought as he watched the ship disappearing in the distance. Although he knew the general location of the paradise, Lin Yan did not expect that this time when he came out, he would encounter Marley's Titan replenishment ship. After raiding for 2 days, they fought many Titans along the way. Finally came to this place. Seeing in the distance that the ship was about to disappear completely on the sea surface, everyone came out from behind the reef. Lin Yan is fully capable of stopping the supply ship, but after stopping it, there is no benefit. It will take some time to stabilize inside the wall, and when it is completely stabilized, it is time to consider issues outside the wall. Bringing everyone out this time is just to let everyone understand that this world is still very big. It is also to change the minds of everyone in advance. Is this the sea that Lin Yan Big Brother talked about? Is there a world beyond the sea? Everyone in the hunter group rode their horses and looked at the golden sea in front of them. So everyone was shocked by the magnificent scenery in front of them. Krista and Mikasa each rode a horse and stood on both sides of Lin Yan. Seeing the sea, Krista couldn't help sighing. When everyone heard Krista's voice, they subconsciously looked at Lin Yan. Lin Yan sensed the doubts in everyone's eyes, and then replied lightly, "I'll take you to see it later. Okay, it's time to set off and go back." Hearing Lin Yan's words, everyone looked at the dark sea in front of them again reluctantly. What they saw today completely shattered their original worldview. It also made everyone's last fear of Titan disappear. Although there are still a lot of doubts in their hearts, they are much better than the millions of people in the world inside the wall who are still kept in the dark. 2 days later. Wall Maria City Wall. The world outside the wall is actually like this. The Titan we have been resisting turned out to be human. Erwin and Pixis stood on the city wall blankly. The amount of information that Lin Yan and Hange and Petra brought back to them after they came back from outside the wall is simply amazing. If it weren't for Hange and Petra who also accompanied Lin Yan out of the world inside the wall. It was really hard for Erwin and Pixie to believe that what Lin Yan said was true. This incident had a great impact on them. However, the two can become the leaders of one party, and their natural acceptance is far beyond ordinary people. Originally, the 4 Sith resisted Lin Yan's sudden royal plan. But before coming here this time, Pixis applied for a supply, but it was rejected, and he didn't get a bag of food. Pesci completely gave up on the royal family and the nobility. 200,000 people were not given a single bag of grain. What the royal family and nobles did was no different from directly killing these civilians. After the council decided not to allocate supplies to him, 4 Sith remembered what Lin Yan asked. "I am loyal to human beings, or to the royal family." Over the years, Pixis has understood that the royal family supported by the power of the whole country does not care about the lives of other people at all. Looking at the densely packed pale civilians on the city wall, Pixis made a decision. I can agree to your terms, but if you can't make the human condition better, I will become your enemy at any time, even if I risk my life, I will not hesitate. After pondering for a while, Pixis spoke first. He straightened his hunched waist, as if he had let go of some heavy burden, showing a relieved expression. In fact, Pixis has been thinking about what Lin Yan said these days. If he chooses to refuse, the 200,000 civilians will be killed or injured in a short time, so he has no choice. Pixie felt that as he got older, he might not live for many years. He has fought against Titan for decades, and he has also lost for decades. So whether it was to save the lives of nearly 2 adults, or to win once, he wanted to give it a try. However, there are 4 major legions in the kingdom, except the Survey Corps. There are a large number of nobles in the remaining 3 regiments, especially the Garrison Regiment and Military Police Regiment. The Garrison Corps often deals with local development areas, can often deal with property, so there are many nobles. If they act rashly, they are afraid that a group of them will be eaten up by the nobles. Thinking that there are powerful enemies peeping outside the wall, and the country inside the wall is extremely corrupt, Pixis can't help but frown. I also agree to your terms. I have different conditions from Pixis. I hope that Survey Corps and Hunters can be integrated together. It is because you are willing to join the Survey Corps, and I am willing to give you the position of team leader. Erwin watched Lin Yan speak solemnly, the reluctance in his eyes flashed away. He was a little disappointed. After all, after being the head of the Survey Corps for so many years, Erwin was still a little bit reluctant. But Erwin only needs to think about it. Once Lin Yan joins the Survey Corps and becomes the team leader, leading everyone to grow up as soon as possible, the reluctance in Erwin's eyes disappeared. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Next, you two should think about how to repair the outer wall. Hearing what the two said, Lin Yan nodded slightly. Although Lin Yan understands that it is useless to repair the outer wall, since the two parties have exchanged benefits, Lin Yan reached a cooperation with the two. Lin Yan was quite surprised by the two's answers. Another purpose of going out to the world outside the wall this time is to add chips to this matter. Many things are empty talk. It is impossible for Lin Yan to tell Pixis and Erwin what the outside world is like with empty teeth. Things that others will believe if you just move your mouth like in novels, after all, only exist in literary works. Basically, the other party is a normal person and will not believe it. No one else, because I haven't seen it. How many people can believe in something I haven't seen? Even believing in estimates is skeptical belief. Originally, the time since Lin Yan came back was not too short. But it's okay for Pixis and Erwin to confirm Lin Yan's words. After learning a lot with Hange and Petra, I finally fully believed in Lin Yan. This is the result of the two people finally deciding to cooperate with Lin Yan to attack the royal family and the nobles together. With Lin Yan's strength, the lives of 200,000 civilians and the threat from the outside world, forcing Erwin and Pixie to have no other choice but to cooperate with him. So, you agree? Hearing Lin Yan's words, Pixis and Erwin became excited. Pixie and Erwin knew that Lin Yan was an extremely tough person. When they were negotiating with Lin Yan just now, they had already squeezed the conditions as close as possible to their bottom line. So hearing Lin Yan's words, both of them breathed a sigh of relief. Lin Yan nodded slightly upon hearing Erwin and Pixis' words. Do you have any advice? Immediately, Pixis looked at Lin Yan. He had been thinking with Erwin for a few days, but there was still no good solution. Lin Yan created surprises again and again, so he wanted to hear Lin Yan's ideas. You don't mean to use it, do you? Seeing that Lin Yan didn't speak, but shifted his gaze to the distance, Erwin followed Lin Yan's gaze and looked over. I froze in place. Lin Yan's eyes focused on a stone mountain in the Siganina area. To be honest, this rock is a real rock mountain. Compared with the surrounding buildings, it is about 1,500 meters taller by visual estimation. This is a tourist area compared to the Wall of Rose in the original book. The stone carried by the Titan that Eren turned into was several times larger. Knowing some things, Lin Yan looked at the stone subconsciously. So the two misunderstood that they wanted to use that stone to block. However, after hearing the words of the two people Lin Yan suddenly thought that it is not impossible. But unlike the one in Trost, this stone is connected to the ground and is about 3 kilometers away from the outer city gate. Lin Yan, are you kidding me? It takes a lot of effort just to get such a big rock out of the ground. And there's simply no way we can make it span 3 kilometers. Hearing what Pixis said, Lin Yan nodded, and there was no problem with what Pixis said. Because this stone is connected to the ground, it is difficult to take it out, and it is very heavy at first glance. If you want to use it, you have to spend a lot of time to take it out. This process will not be short, and the thousands of titans in the city will not sit still. Even if it is taken out at night and transported for 3 kilometers, it has to cross many terrains and houses. But is there really no way? Thinking of this, the corner of Lin Yan's mouth slightly raised an arc, and then he opened the system panel in his mind. System panel. Lin Yan opened the system panel. System panel host. Lin Yan current world. Attack on Titan. Physique. 14, 10-meter level odd species Titan physique. Points. 14, 33%, skills. Fighting LV6, forging LV5, 3-dimensional mobile device manipulation LV3 brewing LV2, cooking LV1. In the past 6 months, Lin Yan has accumulated 14 points. 14 points are enough to push the constitution to 28. Then when the time comes, how much will your own strength, body speed, and defense be improved? So at the moment when he saw the big rock in the capital, Lin Yan suddenly wanted to give it a try. Before adding points, Lin Yan needs to do some preparations. That is to make a good food reserve, and in the process of adding points to the physique, there will be a strong sense of hunger. Not only the hunger from the stomach, but also the hunger from the cells of the whole body. The improvement of physique improves the life level of the individual to a certain extent. After the level of life is improved, it is like a car turning into an excavator, which naturally requires more oil. It takes a lot of energy to replenish the body, so adding some physical fitness requires preparing food for backup. So Lin Yan withdraws consciousness from the system space. Beside Lin Yan, Sith and Erwin are still waiting for Lin Yan to express their further thoughts. I need a batch of food, the more the better. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Erwin and Pixis were stunned. They didn't expect that Lin Yan would actually say such a sentence after waiting for a long time. But the two didn't ask too much. Now they are begging Lin Yan to cooperate with them, not Lin Yan insisting on cooperating with them. So for Lin Yan's request, as long as it is not too much, they will not refuse. I'm going to eat something first, and you send the food to the watchtower. After Lin Yan finished speaking, he activated the 3-dimensional mobile device and left. Erwin and Pixis looked in the direction Lin Yan was leaving, stood where they were, and fell silent. Although the two knew that Lin Yan was very powerful, no matter how strong he was, there was no good way to block the gate. Maybe Lin Yan can easily kill the Titan, but facing the gap in the outer door, they don't give much hope. The two had just discussed it. Just try once, if it doesn't work, give up. Try to ensure that young people can survive this disaster. As for the old man, they can only give up. 200,000 people, as long as they live 50,000, it is already the biggest goal of the two. The cooperation of the three was too sudden, and many things were not prepared and planned. They could take these people back to Trost district, but on the way back, they might be wanted for disobeying orders. So the safest way is to try it once. It is best to be able to block. In this way, everyone can be tax-free for 3 years, and half of the supplies can be taken by themselves. If you can't stop it, you can only go back rashly. It's time to confront the royal family and nobles. In a hurry, the chances of winning are not great, but since the two of them have already taken a stand, they will not escape because of the risk. Come on, go and gather all our food and send it to Captain Lin Yan. Pixis came with Erwin this time. Originally, at his age and status, he didn't have to enter such a dangerous place. But Lin Yan finally agreed to cooperate with them, so he naturally wanted to come and participate in such a matter. Because they came here in a hurry, they didn't bring much food, so when they heard Pixis' words, Hannes, the head of the station side regiment, began to hesitate. Commander, we only brought food for 3 days. Send it over. I have no appetite these days, leave the food to the young people. Hearing what Pixis said, Hannes no longer hesitated, turned and left to collect food. In the bunker, a lot of food has been placed in front of Lin Yan. There are all kinds of things, and there are everything. These were sent by the Survey Corps and the Garrison Corps, and most of them were done by Isabel. Originally, a large amount of compressed food had been produced in the farm in the northern part of the Hunter Group. But because it came out in a hurry, it was too late to transfer over. Now the northern farm has completely turned into a place where Lin Yan produces compressed food. Lin Yan started to eat. Soon, hundreds of loaves were wiped out, but Lin Yan's abdomen was like a black hole, showing no signs of swelling. Then Lin Yan ate hundreds of caddies of compressed food. Only at this time did Lin Yan feel that he had eaten something in his abdomen. Isabel, Mikasa, and Krista are constantly delivering food to Lin Yan. Soon the food was piling up again. System, add some physique to all of them. Lin Yan no longer hesitated and immediately chose to add some physical fitness. After Lin Yan made the selection, the system sounded again. Ding. Congratulations to the host. The physique has increased by 14 points to 28, and the physique has reached the 17-meter level wisdom seed Kanchi. The moment the system sound fell, a strange energy instantly appeared out of thin air from Lin Yan's cells, and immediately Lin Yan's body began to undergo tremendous changes. If you can look inside, Lin Yan can find that his skeleton, which was originally like fine steel, has become crystal clear and transparent from the previous delicate and shiny foundation, and the hardness has once again reached a level of. From the skull to the foot bones, there are 206 bones, which exceed the limit of the human body, and the 207th bone grows. The former fine iron has become like gold. The membrane under Lin Yan's skin has become thicker, and the skin has become more delicate. There are 639 muscles in the whole body, breaking through the upper limit of human beings, and the 640th muscle has grown. In addition, the previously grown membrane outside the heart becomes thicker again. From nearly 1/3 of an inch before, to 1 inch thick. The same changes took place in the membranes covering the rest of the vital organs. Lin Yan sat on the spot and moved slowly. He felt that if he was faster, he might accidentally knock down the watchtower. Lin Yan, who was already full, felt hungry again. The mountain of food piled up in front of my eyes looked like snacks. Click. Just as Lin Yan moved, the table in front of him instantly fell apart. It takes at least 3 minutes to get used to the strength. Lin Yan looked at the table that was split in two, and couldn't help but smile wryly. Since his physique became more and more exaggerated, he seldom eats with everyone. But after the compressed food was made, it got a little better. Usually, it's amazing. So except for those very close, few people saw him eat. And after the physical fitness is improved, the anti-drug is also improved. To what extent, Lin Yan has never tried. It was already dark. Inside the watchtower bunker, Isabel was sweating profusely. There were more than 50 hunters, and Lin Yan ate up all the supplies for 3 months. In addition, in this camp, the food reserves stored in the cellar a year ago were also emptied. In addition, the garrison corps and the things sent by the survey corps are amazing. Although Isabel knew from an early age that Lin Yan eats a lot, and his food intake has gradually increased over the years. But seeing so much food being eaten up, Isabel was once again horrified inside. Annie, it's all right. That's enough. Let's take a break. Annie watched Mikasa and Krista continuously move the food into the castle. Her original indifferent face gradually turned into astonishment. Seeing the white palm fluttering in front of her continue to change from blurry to clear, Annie took a while to focus on her eyes. She looked at Isabel, who was calling her, and nodded. Good captain. Ever since Annie and the hunters came back from outside the city, she has always been in a state of confusion. Especially when she saw the Titan replenishment ship from Mere in the distance on the coast, she was extremely nervous. The heart is tangled to the extreme. If it wasn't for her family, how could she come to this place? Her father was still waiting for her in Aldea concentration camp, in that hopeless place, waiting for her to go back. If the task fails, the father who is used to check and balance her and threaten her will lose its use value. At that time, his father might end up being fed to dogs, or turned into a Wugo Titan. But during the time she joined the hunter group, the kind eyes of everyone, and the relaxed and free atmosphere, and the existence of Lin Yan, the leader who can make everyone feel at ease no matter how dangerous it is. It made Annie feel a sense of security and a sense of home that she had never felt since she was a child. Especially after Lin Yan led the crowd to kill the strange species of Titan after another. The feeling of constantly overcoming difficulties made Annie feel hopeless in life since she was born. Emerged as never before. A thing called hope. So, on one side is the father in the concentration camp of the Aldeans in Malay. On one side is Lin Yan, who made her feel that fate can be changed for the first time. She was so tangled up when she met the Marley supply ship. Confused about whether to tell the truth to everyone. Or should she leave the crowd and go find her 2 companions. Because of the entanglement, she has been in a daze until now. Annie is really afraid of one thing. That's how Lin Yan and the hunters would choose if one day they found out that she was a spy of Mere. How should I treat her as a liar? Annie has always resisted Marley's arrangement, but she has no right to choose. Unknowingly, Annie, who was walking towards the resting place, unknowingly climbed to the highest floor of the watchtower. On the watchtower. After Lin Yan finished eating and refilling, he came to the top of the watchtower to observe the topography of the city. Now that Pixis and Irwin have reached a cooperation with him, their small group has been formed. Originally, Lin Yan believed that he could convince Pixis. The chances of joining his plan to replace the king within the walls are not great. Therefore, in Lin Yan's original plan, he only wanted to show his own strength and train everyone's. But after Pixis agreed unexpectedly, then the next step is how to use this battle to get the most benefits. Before the expedition, representatives of the royal family and nobles, as well as many parliamentarians supported by the nobles, as well as officials. In order to make the death plan smoother, it has been stipulated that those who participate in the recapture war will be exempted from tax for 3 years, and the conditions that they can get half of the property they get. In fact, if the original plot develops, the civilians will not only lose any property, but also lose their lives. But if you win this time, more than 200,000 people have been exempted from tax for 3 years, and half of their property will be taken. Wall Maria has 1/3 of the entire world inside the wall. The supply of food used to account for nearly 40% of the world inside the walls. Don't think about it. With the style of the nobles in the world inside the wall, as well as the royal family, they will never keep their promises. Therefore, the outbreak of conflict will become inevitable. At that time, some planning will be enough to make the government of the world inside the wall credible. Collapsed because of this incident. At that time, one side will be Harista, who can bring hope to everyone and be supported by the hunter group who can fight against Titan. On one side are the royal family and aristocrats who go back and forth. It is self-evident how most people in the world inside the wall will choose. In fact, after Lin Yan's strength and the power of his subordinates grew, he also thought about conquering this road by force. But the biggest problem is that Lin Yan's ultimate goal is to control the island. Create a place for yourself with a steady supply of food. Today, we have experienced locusts, plague, and the successive disasters of Titan breaking the city. The walls have become fragmented. If there is another civil war, I am afraid that it will be smashed. Then Mare, as well as several other countries in the world who hate the Aldeans, may be able to laugh happily. At that time, what else can I use to provide myself with a stable source of food? In addition, if a war broke out, the hunter group of more than 50 people would be wiped out in a day. Except for himself, whose physique has become abnormal to the extreme, it is estimated that no one survived. Although Lin Yan's strength has improved rapidly over the years, he still has basic reason. Creak. While Lin Yan was thinking, Lin Yan pushed open the gate at the top of the watchtower with a pair of white hands. Immediately, a fair and slightly sad face poked out from the door. The shape of the face is sharp and well crafted, with a high nose bridge and golden hair hanging down from slightly frowning brows. She looks like a 3 girl. 3 no girls, heartless, mouthless, and expressionless, referring to those girls with closed hearts who are taciturn, lack facial expressions, and are hard to be seen. Captain, what a coincidence. Annie just pushed open the gate at the top of the watchtower when she saw Lin Yan, who turned his head and looked at her. With Lin Yan's resolute face as sharp as a knife, coupled with a tall and mighty figure, and a pair of breathtaking eyes that are as bright as stars, Ah Hu was stunned. Meeting Lin Yan made Annie flustered. She always felt that Lin Yan's eyes seemed to be able to see through everything. So after exchanging glances with Lin Yan, Annie avoided Lin Yan's gaze in a panic and looked to the side. There are still few words. His expression was still so indifferent. Well, it's so late. Why didn't you rest? Lin Yan looked at Annie's flustered look, and he remained calm and his tone was extremely flat. In fact, Lin Yan has tested Annie more than once. But what makes Lin Yan more satisfied is that Annie has not done anything to endanger the hunter group so far. So for this pseudo 3 no girl, Lin Yan is not as cold as before. However, Annie should feel lucky. If she didn't pass the test, she would have been hacked to death by Lin Yan long ago. Even though she has the power of a female titan and can still be crystallized, Lin Yan is still sure to kill her. To keep her, on the one hand, she can be used as bait, and on the other hand, her current performance is not bad. I can't sleep, come and walk. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Annie thought for a while before speaking slowly. There was still that extremely indifferent expression on his face. The two stood there quietly. After a long time, Annie hesitated for a while before asking. Captain, do you have any family? Yes, but he died very early. Hearing Annie's words, Lin Yan froze for a moment. He recalled the woman who raised him until he was 7 years old in this world. If it weren't for the woman who raised him to the age of 7 in this world, Lin Yan would have died long ago. Lin Yan was deeply impressed by that extremely frugal woman. Lin Yan can finally rely on such a large force as the hunter group of the Maltos Development Department. Relying on the steel coins left by the woman inside the wall. Lin Yan still remembers that she was not willing to use the money when she was dying of illness. In the end, it was all left to Lin Yan. Thinking of this, Lin Yan showed a warm smile. When this time is over, I will take you to see her. By the way, where is your family? Hearing Lin Yan's words, Annie's originally indifferent expression flashed a trace of sadness. Then he was silent for a while before slowly answering. My family may never see each other for the rest of my life. As long as you are alive, there must be a time to meet again. Lin Yan naturally knew the meaning of Annie's words. He continued to observe the terrain outside the city while talking to Annie. For those who live in this extraordinarily cruel world, even as the successor of the 9 powers, Annie is just a pawn. Annie's fate was decided when she was born in Aldea concentration camp. As long as you live, yes, as long as you live. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Annie's originally indifferent face became softer. Goo. Watching the 2 people staying in the watchtower leave one after another. An owl carefully drilled out of the air vent of the watchtower and then flew out. It needs to feed its 2 chicks, already the size of chickens, to find food. Soon it flew away from the watchtower. The owls in the mountains are much bigger than that. I don't know what happened to Dad. City wall. A girl with black hair and ponytail was sitting on the edge of the city wall. Looking at the owl in the sky in a daze, she held a small cloth bag tightly in her hand. Seeing the owl flying up under the moonlight, her eyes dimmed. The girl is Sasha from the mountains. Sweet potato girl, foodie Sasha. Sasha left her hometown because she was dissatisfied with her father for hunting in the woods. Later, I met a government official who was handing out food to promote the recapture war. She was overwhelmed by an assortment of food. And the words of those officials were misleading and joined the huge recapture team. Into this hopeless place at last, not only was there not as much food to eat as those officials had promised. And there is a daily risk of being eaten by a titan. If only I could join the hunters. Sasha hugged her small cloth bag and looked in the direction of the watchtower. The powerful actions of the hunter group are naturally clear to her in the refugee group. As a very good person who was protected by his father since childhood, Sasha has basically never encountered any danger, so she is actually a very timid person. Therefore, Sedge suddenly appeared on Titan that day and was frightened. When entering the city that day, Lin Yan crossed the sky at the city gate and killed the Titan scene. She is still unforgettable. The reason why Sasha can live up to now is because of the sweet potatoes she brought with her along the way. But now she only has the last one left in vain. Before the garrison corps collected food and sent it to the hunter corps, she took one of the remaining 2 days out. Sasha wasn't the only one who saw the owl. Many refugees have seen it. Because of being trapped on the city wall, they do the most things every day. It is to look at the watchtower where the hunter group is. The thing that more than 200,000 people are most afraid of is that one day, the watchtower they have been watching will no longer be brightly lit. Because that would mean that Lin Yan, the only one who could save them, left. So everyone is very familiar with the owl that lives on the watchtower. Originally an ordinary owl, because Lin Yan became the focus of 200,000 people's eyes. Good news, we're saved. The grown-up accepted our food and forgave us. Suddenly there was a commotion in the crowd, and Hannes ran all the way carrying a kerosene lamp from a distance. Passed the message around the walls. He served as the captain of the garrison corps and previously led the team at the front of the team. Originally, he was in charge of the back, but because of fear of changing positions with him, Shay switched to the back. But sometimes, luck is so strange. He was originally in a very dangerous position in the front, but later it became the safest place. So he was able to enter the city first, and finally survived fortunately. Just now when Pixis asked him to collect food, Hannes didn't tell the truth. As early as before, the food brought by the garrison regiment was divided among the people who had been hungry for several days. That leaves Pixis. With the idea of giving it a try, Hannes raised money around with a kerosene lamp. In the end, he didn't expect that the people on the city wall heard that they were going to be sent to the hunter group. Everyone shared some of the food that was left, and asked Hannes to deliver it to Lin Yan. As the captain of the garrison corps, Hannes had just heard of Pixis' arrangement. Pixis remembered a sentence: cooperate with Commander Lin Yan's actions and start the recapture operation. So he knew that Lin Yan forgave everyone and decided to make a move. Therefore, he immediately came to tell the good news to many civilians. Is this real? Is this real? Is this real? On the city wall, upon hearing the news, the already weak civilians burst into tears with excitement. These 4 days. They look like titans and roar every day, even in their sleep. As soon as I open my eyes every day, I can see under the city wall. Huge titan palms waved towards them again. The entire huge city wall is like a dining table surrounded by titans, and 200,000 people are the food on the table. This feeling that they may be eaten at any moment has always lingered in their hearts. This night, the 200,000 people who were originally desperate to the extreme, once again ignited hope. A day later, there was no light in the night sky, and the air was extremely dull. The hot and humid environment in the south is fully interpreted in the high temperature of August. Creak, creak. The sound of the rope being stretched was slightly broken. In the dull and silent night, the sounds continued one after another. As time goes by, it becomes more and more dense. Rumble. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed across the dark sky. The dark clouds, as black as ink, appeared to be rolling and rolling under the appearance of Lei Guang. The entire pitch-black night was instantly illuminated by the flash of lightning. Under the dazzling lightning, a towering city wall seemed to penetrate the night and reach the sky. On this high wall, a string of human beings who stand against the huge city wall like grasshoppers slowly come down from the high wall. The thunder that suddenly exploded in the sky frightened everyone who came down from the city wall to tremble. Rumble. Another thunder flashed, and the people on the city wall looked down at their feet. Huge titans, like buildings lying on the city wall, piled up in layers on the corner of the city wall. Although they didn't move anymore, the smiles, horror, or fierce expressions were still on their faces. Like hell, crack. The face of a titan suddenly appeared in front of a civilian after being struck by lightning. Frightened, his feet softened and he fell from the rope ladder. Fall into the open mouth of a titan. Titan, who had fallen into a deep sleep, subconsciously closed his cave-like mouth. The sound of bones breaking was extremely harsh in the already dull night sky. Hoo-hoo. The people hanging on the rope ladder took a deep breath to suppress the fear in their hearts. Then moved closer to the ground step by step, although it is not the first time they have had such close contact with Titan. But when they approached again, that suffocating, scalp-numbing feeling still pervaded their entire bodies. Rustle. After the thunder, it began to rain in the sky, and the rain became heavier and heavier, and it beat the faces of the civilians under the gust of wind. Hurry up, this is the last chance. Hannes led a group of soldiers stationed in the regiment, shuttled through the crowd, and he urged them to move forward in a low voice. On the muddy ground, as everyone's footsteps fell, muddy water was stepped on and splashed everywhere. Except for women and children, all who were able to walk came down from the city walls. The 120,000 people were divided into 4 teams, led by the 4 teams of the hunter group, and walked towards the stone mountain in the city. Lin Yan and Erwin are at the front of the line. This moonless rainy night made their actions less troublesome. 120,000 people, at least need to help me push the boulder for a distance of 2 kilometers. I'll figure out a way for the remaining 1 kilometer. Lin Yan and Erwin rode their horses and galloped towards Stone Mountain in the rainy night. They're running out of time, and without food, the Survey Corps kills all the horses. Hundreds of horses are distributed to 120,000 young and strong laborers, but it is just a drop in the bucket. But this is the last food available. If it fails this time, then everyone will never have another chance. The physical strength is only enough to launch a counterattack. The only consolation is that on a rainy night, at least the boulder is more likely to be moved on a slippery road. What you want is ready, but is that thing really usable? Erwin followed Lin Yan on horseback, his brows were full of worry. Under the flash of lightning, his face was wet by rain, his eyes were bloodshot and red. He has not slept for several days. Drive, drive, drive. Lin Yan didn't answer Erwin's words, he raised the whip in his hand and beat the horse continuously. Under the lightning, they quickly passed through the alleys, bypassing huge sleeping titans. It's not that Lin Yan doesn't want to answer Erwin's words, but that he himself doesn't know whether that thing is useful or not. Lin Yan, who was galloping fast on a horse, turned his head to look at the people behind him. In the rainy night, Levi, Fran, Isabel, Mikasa, Krista, and Annie dragged a huge steel column behind their horses. Dang behind the members of the hunter group were those who were dragging an iron chain as thick as a thigh. A thick iron chain of more than 200 meters, carried by hundreds of people, quickly followed behind the hunter group. There is a team standing on each side of them. Whenever the team carrying the iron chains gets tired, they will be quickly replaced by the teams on the side. The dull clashing sound between the iron chains seemed to show its abnormal heaviness. Seeing that the crowd had followed quickly, Lin Yan turned his head and continued to gallop on horseback. Rumble. There was another loud thunderclap. Beside a residential building, a small stone mountain showed its bulky figure under the lightning. Call. Lin Yan approached on horseback, in front of the boulder like an egg placed in front of a watermelon. Soon Erwin, Hange, Levi, Fran and others came to the boulder one after another. It seems that we underestimated the size of this stone. It got stuck in the soil and it was not easy to get it out. Erwin rode a horse and circled the boulder with a kerosene lamp on a rainy night. Soon he had an understanding of the boulder's condition. Looking at the boulder buried in the mud, Erwin increased his silence in order to let Lin Yan hear what he said clearly. The loud voice revealed despair because of seeing the specific condition of the stone. If you want to pull this stone, you must first dig it out. But he has already dug a palm, and it is still bottomless, as if it is connected to the ground. Hange also looked at it carefully, and finally shook his head unwillingly. They didn't have any large-scale machinery at all this time, and it was too difficult to move this stone. Frank, Levi, Mikasa Krista, Annie and other members of the hunter group also shook their heads. Shaking this huge rock was much more difficult than they had expected. If you don't try it, how will you know it won't work? Hearing Lin Yan's voice, everyone looked in Lin Yan's direction. Lin Yan rode on the horse, not caring about the rain on his resolute face. Seeing everyone looking over, he turned his gaze to the many civilians carrying iron chains alternately in the distance. Start with lots of surrounding terrain. Starting from the boulder, there is a slope of about 300 meters ahead, with a slope of about 45 degrees. After passing the slope, there is a downward slope of about 400 meters, and there is a straight road ahead, and there is a turn 300 meters ahead of this straight road. Turn right for about 50 meters, and you will enter the main road leading to Zhiganshina city, and 2 kilometers ahead is the gate of the outer city. Lin Yan has already seen the situation here during the day. In order to move this stone over, at least 6 problems need to be solved. 1. Take out the stone. 2. How to climb the first 300-meter slope of about 45 degrees. 3. How to get out of the corner of the main road. 4. After Titan wakes up, how to avoid being surrounded. 5. How to pass the 2 kilometers after entering the straight road. In fact, there are still many problems, but these 6 are the most important and the most difficult. While Lin Yan was thinking, people carrying iron chains in the distance had already arrived. Rumble. The thunder sounded again, and the rain became heavier. After all, 120,000 civilians came to the vicinity of the boulder. There are several streets full of stations. The first team, prepare the equipment and be responsible for cleaning up the titans that appear. The second team will lead 20,000 people to clean up the ruins on the planned boulder route within 3 hours. The third team. 4th Squad. Survey Corps, Garrison Corps. Lin Yan leapt onto the boulder. He stood up on the stone, although his voice was not loud, it was extremely penetrating. Under the boulder, there are more than 50 members of the hunter group, more than 30 members of the Survey Corps, and more than 300 members of the Survey Corps. And 120,000 civilians standing densely on the streets. Enlightening. At a glance, there are people within 1 kilometer, so everyone stands respectfully. They knew that if they failed again this time, they would have no chance except death. Therefore, knowing that they might die, after experiencing so many death experiences, they became much calmer. At least now they are standing in front of the sleeping titan, and they will no longer be unable to walk as before. Soon after Lin Yan gave the order, everyone started to move. Break. 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 The first team took the lead in activating the 3-dimensional mobile device, and quickly jumped onto the roof of the residence on one side. They began to stand guard on both sides of the road, and other teams also moved after Lin Yan's order. The same goes for the Survey Corps, the people stationed in the Corps. Lin Yan and Pixis are the 2 major commanders in this recapture battle. Lin Yan is in charge of the local area, as well as the first half, and Pixis is in charge of the overall macro deployment after entering the daytime. The rain seems to be getting smaller. As everyone left after the order was issued, the originally quiet street became busy. But the voice is very small, because no one is sure if there will be some strange species of mutation in the middle. The giant fist titan didn't come out because there was no moonlight. Seeing the rain starting to get smaller, Lin Yan frowned. Lin Yan knew that the time left for him was running out. What is Captain Lin Yan doing? Hearing what Hange said, Erwin, who had been thinking hard on the spot, raised his head and looked over. She saw Lin Yan walk up to a steel pillar. It was a huge steel column about 15 meters long, like a very long electric pole, half of which was sunk in the soil. It took a lot of effort to carry this huge steel pillar. Without any hesitation, Lin Yan embraced the steel pillar with both hands, and immediately a huge force surged from his whole body. His arm instantly bulged, and then the power was transferred to his hand. The steel column was picked up from the ground by Lin Yan. Make a whoosh. This power. At the same time, Annie saw Lin Yan hugging the steel pillar on the ground in an instant, and her eyes were fixed. Although she can easily do it after transforming, but you must know that Lin Yan is not a titan. Such a heavy pillar was picked up in an instant, and it looked very relaxed. In addition to Annie, Hange and others were also stunned. They had known Lin Yan for so long, and it was the first time they knew that Lin Yan was so powerful. Especially Hange, with glowing eyes, if it wasn't for the important task tonight. She wanted to study Lin Yan's body structure. It seems a little light, because I have never had the opportunity to try my strength. Lin Yan has never known the specific changes in his strength after adding more physical fitness. But through this and the pillar, Lin Yan probably got some vague ideas. Boom. Lin Yan jumped up with the pillar in his arms, and the hard stone slab on the ground was instantly split open by him. There was a loud muffled sound. Seeing that Lin Yan has jumped onto a huge rock about the height of a small building. It seems that the jumping ability has also been greatly improved. Stabilizing his figure, Lin Yan looked at the ground and looked at his people in astonishment. Without hesitation, he jumped down again, to the back of the boulder. Beside the boulder, the Survey Corps and some garrison regiments, as well as Annie who was waiting on the side, were stunned again. Lin Yan's movements. It's like in modern society, seeing an ordinary person jumping onto a 6-story building with a pole in his arms. Unbelievable. Boom. Behind the huge boulder, Lin Yan hugged the long steel pillar, and charged obliquely under the boulder. Feeling that the steel pillar in his hand was as easy as being inserted into the soil, Lin Yan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. This shows that this boulder is not bottomless. Bang. Soon 5 Survey Corps men smashed a huge iron block the size of a table under the steel column. Do you want to pry it up? Erwin couldn't believe it when he saw the huge lever in front of him. In his eyes, the scene in front of him was like using a long pillar to pry a building. Seeing Lin Yan nodding, Erwin felt that his head was not enough. He wondered if Lin Yan was under too much pressure and took it for granted. Everyone, step back 100 meters. Lin Yan didn't talk nonsense, he jumped up again, surpassing the height of the boulder in an instant. Under the light of lightning, the scene of him jumping into the sky was watched by tens of thousands of people. Rumble boom. Accompanied by the sound of thunder, Lin Yan fell from the sky in an instant. The moment Lin Yan stepped on the steel pillar, all the strength of Lin Yan's body was concentrated on his feet, and a huge force pressed against the huge lever under Lin Yan's feet. The lever was bent by an arc at a certain moment, and a huge and unparalleled force was transmitted to the boulder. Immediately accompanied by thunder in the sky. The boulder that was originally buried in the soil was instantly pried out. With a bang, it hit the ground heavily, shaking the whole ground. The moment the boulder was pried, the steel pillar and the boulder collided together, and the huge sound instantly swirled around the boulder as the center. The sound was as loud as thunder rolling. Successful, unexpectedly successful. This power no longer belongs to humans. Erwin watched Lin Yan jump off the steel pillar with a relaxed face. He's numb. Even if Lin Yan told him that he was a god and a titan, Erwin would not have had any doubts. The steel pillar as thick as a bucket was bent when Lin Yan stepped on it. It was a steel pillar, not wood. Moreover, the height of Lin Yan's jump just now is probably about 20 meters. At this height, even if you don't use the 3-dimensional mobile device, you can kill the titan. Who the hell is he? Is it a titan too? Seeing Lin Yan's movements, Annie's pupils shrank in horror. It is simply impossible for human beings to show such a powerful strength. Apart from being a titan, she couldn't think of any other possibility. But Lin Yan didn't have all the changes before the titan's transformation. And although Lin Yan is tall, he is only a little over 1.8 meters. It doesn't look like a titan at all. This made Annie puzzled. Originally, she already felt that she knew Lin Yan well enough. But the mist that was just cleared, more mist appeared inside. Time flies. After Lin Yan pried out the boulder, civilians in the distance trotted over carrying thick iron chains. Soon Lin Yan, with the assistance of civilians, tied more than a dozen iron chains to the boulder. City wall. Pixis, whose mustache was completely gray, stood on the city wall with a worried face. The wrinkles on his forehead had grown more and more. Next to Pixis were the old people, children and women who stayed on the city wall and were watching the movement in the city like him. They were all the young family members who were assisting Lin Yan in the city, and this time many of them were family members. There is a condition given by the government inside the wall before, and there is a condition that half of the obtained finance can be kept. A lot of people who escaped from the Siganina area. I was very worried that I left home in a hurry, and the belongings I didn't take were taken away by others. Therefore, many people participated in this recapture battle with their families. I want to get back the property I left behind in a hurry to escape a year ago. Call out. Boom. Just when everyone was worried, a green flare rose into the sky. It appears that progress has been made. The Survey Corps green flare signaled that it was possible to proceed. So seeing the green flare go up into the sky, Pix's originally worried face became relaxed. He took a deep breath. To be honest, for this recapture operation, even with Lin Yan's participation, Pixis did not dare to report too much hope. Mainly Lin Yan's idea is too unbelievable. After Lin Yan put forward the plan, even someone like Pixis who never likes to play cards according to common sense. It's all too ridiculous. The rain in the sky gradually became lighter. Although they couldn't see anything standing on the city wall, Sith still stared at the place where there was a faint rumbling sound in the distance. Everyone, pull hard. Following Lin Yan standing on the stone, he gave an order. Dozens of huge iron chains were instantly straightened, and 10,000 people passed through the iron chains and the ropes on the iron chains for easy traction. They began to drag the boulder vigorously together. Wow! Rumble! The moment Lin Yan gave the order, the boulder moved. 10,000 civilians covered the entire street, one by one, standing on the ramp, pulling hard. Lin Yan standing on the stone can feel the great strength of the crowd. Although they are just a group of ordinary people, together they are enough to shake this huge rock. The stone does not move fast. Every time Lin Yan waved his hand, everyone pulled the rope in his hand. Time is passing by every minute and every second. The person who pulled the iron chain was changed again and again, until all 120,000 people had been changed. 7 hours have passed. It was 3 o'clock at night. The stone was pulled up the slope, pulled down the steep slope, turned the corner. In the end, I got stuck in a small alley just one step away from the straight road. Get up, cheer up everyone. Work hard, everybody work hard. Erwin rode back and forth on the horse to encourage everyone. But after 7 hours, even if everyone who ate a meal of horse meat before coming out, most of them have lost their strength at this moment. No matter how Erwin yelled, they were too tired to stand up on the ground. Some that were already exhausted were moved aside. For 7 hours, hundreds of people died of exhaustion. There are still 2 kilometers away from the gate of the city. And got stuck. It's only 3 hours before dawn. Hange looked at the pocket watch in his hand. Originally, because everyone had already pulled the huge boulder to the side of the straight road, it seemed that they had been poured a basin of cold water in an instant. On the stone, Lin Yan is chewing the jerky. Feeling the boulder stop, he stood up and looked down the street. On the wide streets, hundreds of thousands of people sat on the ground exhausted and gasped for breath. Seems to have run out of strength. Break. The sound of the 3-dimensional mobile device sounded, and then Levi, Fran, Mikasa and others fell on the stone where Lin Yan was. Boss, that guy is still making reservations. However, with Yinliang, our chances will be much smaller. Tell Erwin to get his attraction force ready and you guys are in charge of drawing that guy. Hearing Levi's report, Lin Yan looked at Erwin who was riding a horse in the distance. Orders were given to the people. Hearing Lin Yan's words, Fran and Levi rushed out into the distance. Big brother, I want to stay. Lin Yan big brother, me too. Mikasa stood by Lin Yan's side, and Krista on one side did the same. Both of them made an imposing manner that they would not leave even if they said nothing. How dangerous Lin Yan's plan is this time. Mikasa is very clear, if it is not done well, it will face the result of being surrounded by hundreds of titans. So, she wants to stay and kick Lin Yan to share some pressure. Krista also nodded towards Lin Yan. For her, Lin Yan's safety is more important than anything. Without Lin Yan, her life would still be gloomy now. Slap, you two, obediently go to the city gate and wait. Lin Yan put his hands on the heads of the two. Although Mikasa and Krista have grown a lot, staying here is of little use. Rumble. The rain stopped in the sky, but thunder still flashed. Erwin got off the horse, holding the flickering kerosene lamp in his hand, and his wet clothes were tightly attached to his body. Looking at the hundreds of thousands of people who couldn't see their heads, lying on the ground and struggling to breathe, Erwin felt the coldness behind him. Strong unwillingness and powerlessness filled his heart. Captain, we are running out of time. Execute Part 2. Get the bait populace in place. Hearing Hange's words, Erwin no longer hesitated. Lin Yan had sent someone over to talk to him just now. But he hesitated just now. Once they entered the second part of the plan, they would never have a chance to turn back. Even Erwin has experienced too many life and death choices in his past life. But the weight of hundreds of thousands of lives still made him feel a little trembling all over. After giving the order, Erwin felt as if his body had been hollowed out. He let out a sigh of relief, and his hand holding the kerosene lamp shook a little. Leader, we will win because of the presence of Captain Lin Yan. Hearing Hange's words, Erwin raised his head and turned to look at the boulder in the distance. Lin Yan's tall and straight body stood motionless on the boulder under the thundering rainy night. Without the slightest expression, calm as water. Seeing this scene, Erwin's flustered heart became calm. If he can't even win, there is no hope for this world anymore. Erwin, who regained his composure, turned his head. It was only then that Erwin realized that, unknowingly, all of them had pinned their hopes on Lin Yan. Even Lin Yan hasn't agreed to completely take over Survey Corps. But Lin Yan has unconsciously become the spiritual leader in the hearts of everyone. And not only the Survey Corps, but also 200,000 people have subconsciously acquiesced to Lin Yan's supremacy. Everyone evacuates, attract troops to start preparations. Figured out which joint, Erwin started shouting in the crowd. Quickly shuttled through the crowd, Erwin's voice was extraordinarily sad in the silent rainy night. The crowd who had already lost their strength began to stand up slowly. None of them ran around, but stood in place supporting each other, and each section had a member of the hunter group maintaining the stability of the formation. As Erwin conveyed Lin Yan's order, under the leadership of the hunter group, the people who gathered to pull the boulder were divided into 3 teams. Quickly rush back to the position of the city wall along the 3 lanes. And there are about 20,000 civilians left in the city, and he is the induction force this time. This time they are in charge of luring the Titan forward for the next plan. The inducement team was also the only team not involved in pulling the boulder tonight. I have been recovering my strength all the time, waiting for the moment of dawn. You have only one mission. Stay on this straight road until the blue flare gun is fired. Keep going while the green flare gun fires. Pixis had come down from the city wall, and he rode his horse and began to make the final mobilization for the induced troops. He understood that the success of the final plan depended on whether these people could stay on the streets as planned. Commander Pixis, can we win this time? A thin young man in the crowd tremblingly asked Pixis. Hearing the young man's words, more than 20,000 people who had lowered their heads and looked desperate, couldn't help but look at Pixis in front of them. The words of the young people have spoken the question that 20,000 people want to ask the most, and it is also the question they are most afraid to ask. Rumble. A flash of thunder flashed, and Pixie was able to see the extremely complicated eyes of everyone. Under the flash of thunder, at a glance, 2 pairs of eyes full of strong desire for life were looking at him. All are waiting for his answer. This scene reminded Pixis of the time when he led the troops back from outside the wall again and again. Families of soldiers waiting for him lined the road. The same sentence he had heard for decades. He also chose to remain silent amidst the disappointment of the people time and time again. But this time, he didn't want to be silent again, even if it was to deceive everyone once. This time, we will definitely win. Because our family is behind us, and it is Lin Yan, the head of the team. In the dark night, the vicissitudes of Pixis's voice is extraordinarily confident and loud. It has been many years since he dared to speak so forcefully or lie in front of the people. In any case, this is the time Pixis has seen the most hope in the past few decades. Hear what Pixie said. Everyone turned around suddenly. Looking at the black shadow on the boulder in the distance, that's where Lin Yan was standing. Immediately, the crowd did not say much, and silently entered the street according to the arrangement of the Survey Corps. Wait for the Titan to wake up. Wait for the blue flare to go up. On the boulder. Lin Yan nodded slightly when he saw the people on the street in the distance standing up according to the designated positions one by one. The hunter group can also do the same thing as inducing the Titan. But how could Lin Yan send his loyal subordinates to such a dangerous situation? Whoever loves to do the matter of sending to death will do it. Lin Yan's stay is already a great kindness to everyone. The power is still not enough. Standing on the boulder, Lin Yan can feel the bulkiness of the boulder under his feet. He also tried to move the huge boulder under his feet, but in the end he could shake it and stand it up. But it is indeed extremely difficult to completely lift it up and walk. There is no way, this stone is too big. But Lin Yan believes that one day, he will be able to move this boulder effortlessly. Similarly, if it is too small and not heavy enough, there is no need for Lin Yan to carry the stone. If it is too light, it will not achieve the purpose of blocking the Titan at all. While it was still early, Lin Yan took out a sweet potato and started to eat it. This was given to him by a little ant when he was going down the city wall. In exchange, he promised that girl the qualification to enter the Hunter Regiment selection training. Sasha. What a naive guy. What Lin Yan met was Sasha. In fact, what Sasha didn't know was that the training qualification of the Hunter group only needs to be registered. No special approval from Lin Yan is required. So her last sweet potato was actually wasted. However, although Lin Yan's special approval is not required, there are still 90% of people who will be rejected in the training assessment. In the end, there are very few who can see Lin Yan. Those who really entered the core of the Hunter group are elites. Over the years, Lin Yan has been implementing the concept of not raising waste very well. City. Wall. Hold on, everybody, hurry up. Sasha and some people helped to pull up the people who had withdrawn from the city wall. Because dragging the boulder took a lot of physical strength, the speed of everyone climbing up the city wall from the ground was much slower. When I join the Hunter group, I can be like them. Sasha looked enviously at the figure moving quickly in the city, relying on the three-dimensional mobile device. Thinking of the fact that she could join the Hunter group today with a sweet potato, Sasha couldn't help but feel happy. Although you need to be hungry, it is very cost-effective when you think about it. Catch it. Damn it. Just when Sasha was in a daze, she saw the middle part of the rope. One person fell from the rope due to lack of strength. Then 4 or 5 people behind were blown away. In an instant, a group of people fell into the dark and desperate city. Bang bang bang, the sound of the human body falling to the ground sounded, and the heavy muffled sound came from the night, which made people feel chills. Such a thing is not an exception. Because the rope is slippery, plus the vertical distance of 50 meters, it takes a lot of physical strength to climb up. Every now and then someone would fall. In other words, many people who knew that it was impossible to climb up turned around and jumped down by themselves. It's not that they have such a high awareness. It was Lin Yan who gave the order, and all those who did not obey the order and hindered the progress of the operation. Even the family members will be executed together and thrown outside the wall. Therefore, because of Lin Yan's arrangement, this operation became extremely fast under Lin Yan's awe. It's not at all like the first time when everyone was repairing the city wall. Everyone ran around like headless chickens when they encountered a Titan. Even if they lose their strength and fall to the ground, no one dares to scream until they fall to death. So on the high and hopeless ramparts, I saw people falling down, but no one dared to make a louder noise. He just silently chose to pull up those who were already close to the city wall. Time passed by every minute and every second. Li Tinliang was getting closer and closer, and there were still some people waiting under the city wall. Boom boom boom. The atmosphere became more and more tense, and everyone's heartbeat could be heard clearly. Quick. Faster. Canis led people to urge on the city wall. By now, he couldn't care too much about it. Urging the crowd, Hannes subconsciously looked at the position where Lin Yan led the crowd. There is the core of this operation, Sagansina City. Beside the main road, Lin Yan is eating slowly. Looking at the faint light in the distance. Lin Yan ate the last piece of jerky, and he stood up when he was sitting on the rock. Soon it was dawn. Ho ho ho. Dawn brings not hope, but the roar of titans. The first between heaven and earth is when light appears in this world. The entire Saganina city wall seems to have entered a titan farm. In all directions, there were deafening roars of titans everywhere, as if they were about to start a feast of cannibalism. Rustle, rustle, the dead leaves on the trees in the city fell one after another amidst the roar of the titan. Sudden. The titans in the city seemed to smell something, and their eyes that were dull due to deep sleep opened instantly. In the dawn, each titan opened its huge eyes, just like rows of red street lights being turned on. Bloodthirsty eyes looked at the people who were used as bait in the main road in the city. Kakaka. Dang, 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 dang. Dozens of iron chains that were originally tied to the boulder were instantly straightened, and a huge force was transmitted from the iron chains. The huge boulder like a mountain was pulled instantly. It has started. Lin Yan stood on the boulder and looked in the direction where the iron chain was being straightened. On the street. Because the titans ran out in an instant, they were tightly bound by the iron chains that had been set long ago. And in front of the titan are the 20,000 people responsible for attracting the titan this time. Lin Yan's plan is very simple. Use the Wugo Titan to drag the boulder to the city gate by using the Wugo Titan's instinct of cannibalism. Boss, no pull. I got stuck at the corner of the alley. Fran watched everyone last night from behind the boulder because he was stuck here. Originally, Lin Yan wanted to see if he could use Wugo Titan when he saw the crowd as bait. Utilizing the ferociousness erupted by the titan in an instant, he forcibly dragged the boulder out, but it was unsuccessful. Break. Erwin quickly came to Lin Yan with the help of the three-dimensional mobile device, and before he landed, an eager voice came over. Captain Lin Yan, the titans at the gate of the city are about to encircle them. Once the population is surrounded, our operation has completely failed. Hearing Erwin's words, Lin Yan thought for a moment, then jumped to the back of the boulder, and he got farther and farther away. Everyone get out of the way. Although they didn't know what Lin Yan was going to do, the crowd started to disperse after hearing Lin Yan's words in the distance. The next battle will be the target of Lin Yan and the hunter group. Erwin turned his gaze to the city gate, the gate of the city. Break. 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 The sound of steel cables rubbing against metal rang continuously, and more than 50 figures were pulled into the sky by the steel cables. Everyone in the hunter group headed towards the titan that was coming towards the main road. Their task is very simple, that is to resist the titan for a period of time for the people who are used as bait. Boom. Just when Levi, Mikasa, Krista, Isabel, Annie, and others went to kill the titan. In the north, the rock that was stuck in the alley, which was dragged by a dozen titans, was knocked out by something. Rumble. The moment the boulder came out, the stone that was originally dragged by a dozen Wugo titans was thrown out. The huge force turned that stone mountain into a runaway train. A huge swing directly crushed a row of private houses on the side of the main road into pieces. A large amount of building debris shot out, covering hundreds of meters in dust. Levi and the others shrank their pupils involuntarily in midair. A question emerged in everyone's mind. How the hell did the boulder that was just stuck come out? When the boulder came out, what happened to that loud noise? Alley. The people from the Survey Corps looked into the alley together. Unexpectedly, kicked out. Erwin looked at Lin Yan who jumped out of the dust. He couldn't help but froze. Time went back to 10 seconds ago. After everyone in the Survey Corps retreated, Lin Yan was looking at the boulder in the distance, and he began to mobilize the strength of his whole body. A huge energy breath surged out from Lin Yan's body. The fallen leaves on one side were instantly swept away. Click. Suddenly Lin Yan's body disappeared in place. The stone slab under his feet was instantly cracked. Lin Yan's body turned into an afterimage. After running a few steps, the shoes on Lin Yan's feet were already smoked from being trampled on. Finally burned out.